Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Criminality, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Where did I go? You guys lost me for a minute. If this is your first time here, welcome to Criminality. Thank you guys for being here. So tonight, Sleuthy should be joining me as soon as she's available. So we're going to be watching the CrimeCon Delphi presentation from 2025. It took place from September 5th to September 7th in Denver, Colorado. I want to preface this by saying I didn't record this. This was given to me, and I don't know if that person wants to be publicly acknowledged, but if they do, I will absolutely do that for them. But if they don't, I just want to say, like, I didn't personally record this. But I will give credit where credit is due if they want it, if that makes sense. So we're going to watch the presentation. It has Jerry Holman, Nick McClellan, and Susan Hendricks. If your blood pressure is already high, I say skip this live because there's a lot of shit in here that is going to piss you off. It's going to make your blood pressure rise even further. So I'm just telling you right now, if you haven't already seen it, what I need you to do is just make sure that maybe you need a cocktail or a beer or something. Just, your vape. I've got mine handy. Just whatever you need to stay chill, because I'm telling you guys, listening to these people talk about this case is it's a clusterfuck. Let me just say. So let me say hi to you guys in chat. Well, I have a couple pre videos to show you guys. I don't know with when Sleuthy joins, we may have to switch screens so that she can show the other video. So let me say hi to you guys real quick in chat, and thank you guys again for being here. I got my salad and yogurt. Let's go. I'm already pissed off already just thinking about it. I know. What's up, Trevor? Hi, Purple. Hi, Thierry. Hi, Serendipity. Already got Rage Rash. I haven't listened to the whole thing. So you're going to get like pretty raw reaction from me. And I don't think Sleuthy's listened to the whole thing either. I listened to a couple snippets while I was uploading the video, and just to make sure like audio and stuff was good. And my blood pressure was already going up. So I'm like, I know I'm going to be like red-faced. Oh yeah, a gummy, maybe a gummy if you need a gummy, whatever, smokable, whatever you got to do, I feel ya. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Oksana. Hi, CH. People popping blood pressure meds like Tic Tacs this week. What's up, the Royal We? Doing a listen and drive. Okay, just remain calm. Stay focused on where you're headed. I'm on my second vodka cocktail, baby Bill. There you go. You're going to be fine. Post-smoke mama. My blood pressure meds for sale to Reddit. Karma points. Baby. I just took my blood pressure meds. All the worst people, Chelsea, I know. Thank you to the anonymous person. Yes, thank you very much to the anonymous person. Like I said, I have no problem giving credit. I just don't know if they actually want it. Amanda says, only question, if and when Holman is outed for his being a big fat liar, will they take away his award? No, they won't. They'll just pretend like it never happened. Go off, Queen. Hi, Tony. Hi, Austin. Hi, Andy. Hi, Michael. Andrew, what's up? I haven't seen you forever. You've missed all the fun Holman deposition lives. Where were you? Hi, Scott. It's so good to see you. Hi, there's so many of you guys in here I haven't seen for a while. What's up, T-Dub? Hey, Patty. Cryptex. Hey, there she is. Oh, the beautiful Sleuthy Goosey. Who knows? What's up, Shaz? Hey, True Crime fan. I think Free Ricky Bay's in the house. Hey, Travis, I was talking to you in chat earlier. Dante is in the house. Let me see. I was telling them all they need to take their blood pressure medication. What's up, Stephanie? Hey, Carry On. Amber said, I don't usually drink, but maybe I'll start now. I said that if they need their blood pressure medication, some cocktails, a beer, smoke a bowl, whatever you got to do to make it through listening to these lying liars who lie. Hey, Marissa.
I haven't even watched this yet.
Okay, so have you listened to any of it?
Nope.
Okay, so I listened to a couple pieces just while I was uploading it to make sure like the audio was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just listening to Nick and Holman say some things that they said, I was just like, I already know, like, this is going to be very problematic for me.
Mhm. So it's probably going to be problematic for me.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. So I don't know if you're going to have to play it, or
So I can
I have a
stop it.
couple of videos I'm going to play first so we can kind of test it out. They're just a couple like news snippets of what happened, at CrimeCon, and then we'll get into it. Hey, Spugs. Hey, Jamie.
If you want, while you do that, I can set my computer up upstairs and I can play it.
Okay, because I sent you the link that I uploaded it so that you have it in case you need to play it, because I don't want you to have an echo.
Okay.
I need your full commentary.
All right. So I'll do that. I'll switch over to the other thing. So
Okay.
here.
All right, so I'll play these couple just little snippets just as a little introduction. If I didn't say hi to you personally, thank you guys for being here again. I love you all. If you're just joining in, now I'm stressing about I'm stressed out and getting more stressed out. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I haven't listened to the whole thing, so maybe it's not as bad as just the couple snippets I heard. Hi, Holy Shnikes. That's why I brought you up, because I wanted to make sure I said hi to you. Carry on. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. Welcome. Hey, Mark and Betty, did you have a question? I'm sorry, I missed it. You can ask it again, and I'd be happy to answer it if I can catch it. Hi, Osbrook. No, that's pretty common. Son of shit, who are we going to be listening to? I'm scared. It's Jerry Holman, Nick McClellan, and Susan Hendricks. Hey, Critical True Crime. Aloha. Don't do dishes. Don't do dishes and listen. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to play a couple little snippets first from just regular news cycles. So these were just regular old public news cycles. If I can get them to show up. Okay, so first I'm going to do just a little test to make sure you guys can hear it. So just say, yep, like yes in chat, you can hear it.
The Foxhowell Murders, that was the Herbert.
I hear it.
You hear it?
And I echo.
Okay, no, I'm having a good mental health day. Yeah, you might want to watch this tomorrow then, Carrie. I don't know. These people just, you guys all know how I feel about these, the dishonesty that comes from this group that investigated the Delphi case and those that have continued to push the state's narrative and lie to the public and then try to hide the actual facts from the rest of us. So here's our lovely Russ McQuaid.
Meister mass murders up in Hamilton County was the subject of a major breakout session. But even more important to the true crime followers at the convention this weekend was the case against Richard Allen and the Delphi double murders, which received a lot of attention and even some awards. Right after Richard Allen was sentenced for the killings of Abby Williams and Libby German last December, Carroll County prosecutor Nicholas McClellan defended investigators from the online abuse they had suffered throughout the case from the internet community.
They were attacked by members on the internet for their integrity.
McClellan also recalled his advice to the girls' families all along.
A lot of it was, hey, try not to read that stuff that you see on the internet, which is easier said than done.
This weekend in Denver at CrimeCon 2025, the case against Richard Allen was front and center as true crime followers watched the way the case was covered in Indiana and heard from the prosecutor and lead detective who put Allen away forever.
It's a new experience. Never been anything like this, and so it's been nice to meet a lot of the folks out here and kind of walk around and see the different content creators and different genres of the true crime, I guess, world that are out there.
We had, I think, over 70,000 tips, so we had to go through all of them, and it took a lot of time and effort, but 69,999 of them weren't the one we were looking for.
Abby and Libby's families were there again, just as they were at an earlier CrimeCon in 2018, to meet social media followers who admit their obsession with true crime.
If you're into true crime or anything about crime, this is a good support network right here.
I'm a huge true crime addict, so it's fun to be around everybody else that is too. Like, I just think that everybody's very, very cool here. Like, everyone walking around complimenting everyone, being on the same page with all the true crime, I think is really cool.
The people attending CrimeCon 2025 would be among the audience former Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter was addressing after Allen's sentencing.
Let's heal. Tone down the rhetoric. Stop all the politics and all the nonsense and all the conspiracy theories.
Lieutenant Holman, Prosecutor McLeland, and Libby and Abby's families also received 2025 Crime Fighter of the Year awards at CrimeCon. In the newsroom, Russ McQuaid, Fox 59 News.
They got Crime Fighter of the Year. Crime Fighter of the Year awards.
That's shocking.
Crime Fighter of the Year. It's crazy. I wish Russ McQuaid was putting up the picture graphic. Mark and Ben, like I said, if you have a question, feel free to ask. If I miss it, like you can repeat it. I'm not going to get mad at you because I guess sometimes I don't see everything. Amanda said, "Who do I send my therapy bill for that damn ice orb photo that I see every time I hear that man's name?"
You can go ahead and forward it to him.
You can forward it straight to him. Yeah, I don't want anything. Don't send it to me. There was more on Libby's video. When the guy stepped off the bridge, Libby got his face on the camera in the shade. It's not Rick. Well, if that's the case, I wish that we could see that. Okay, I think I have one more. Hold on. Let me bring this down real quick. And then we'll switch it over to Sleuthy. I don't know if I hope this is a different one. Well, I know I have two more. I apologize. Is this the same one?
I hope it's longer so I can cart all this shit upstairs.
No, this is the same one. Hold on, I want to do the other one. No, it's only 2 minutes. These are just a couple little clips. So, okay.
Denver, Colorado, getting ready to go downstairs, CrimeCon 2025, hosting a panel today with Lieutenant Jerry Holman and lead Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McClelland. There were no cameras in the courtroom, as many of you already know, and so they'll be talking about what went on inside of court, and they're open to answering questions from the crowd. This is a first for me, though. I've been to about, I think, 5 or 6 CrimeCons, and it's a first where they're upping the security in the crowd because of the pushback. And I would say threats to kind of show up and disrupt the panel on the CrimeCon Facebook page. So there'll be extra security. Hopefully they won't be needed. And we will be talking about the questions that you have, that so many people have. So if you have a question now, put it in the comments below and I'll ask Jerry and or Nick. So many questions out there, and Nick did say he understood because there weren't cameras there. And I asked him last night when we met to kind of go over the panel, did he ever for a second think that they had the wrong guy maybe? And he said absolutely not. And the investigation, keep in mind, went on for 6+ years, and several people were investigated. And Richard Allen, they could tie to the crime scene. And keep in mind also that that was his alibi, Glenmona on High Bridge. A lot to discuss. Also, how much CrimeCon has meant to the families. That's a panel I'll be hosting tomorrow with the family members. So today is law enforcement, the attorney Nick McClelland, also Jerry Holman, and his wife is here. I got to know her too. So I'm excited for this panel. Hopefully the extra security won't be needed. Hey everyone, I'm in Denver, Colorado.
So she stated that.
Give me a fucking break, Susan. Give me a fucking break. There was extra security needed for crazy Lauren.
Rosie, I was thinking the same thing. So they had to hire, CrimeCon had to bring in extra security because of the threats, which I would love to know what threats were made. Like, were people going to come in and like question Nick and Jerry about their ethics and morals behind the investigation? Or were there actual threats to people's safety? She said it was on the CrimeCon page. I've not looked at it. I don't know whether there was an actual like, hey, we're going to come in and do XYZ to all of you. Maybe there was, and I didn't see it. So I just want to put that out there. But my gut instinct is to say the threats are, you guys are garbage human beings who have convicted an innocent man based on false evidence and lies by investigators and a corrupt system of incompetent law enforcement and prosecutors.
And Jerry's fat.
And Jerry's fat.
And Nick has
That's not a lie.
disgusting hair.
That's not a threat. That is just somebody coming in, because she even says threats due to the pushback, which therefore makes me think that it was just people who are literally saying, we don't believe you and we think you're lying. Otherwise, the pushback isn't, I don't believe you, so I'm going to come in there and do something, I'm not even going to say it, like something extraordinarily horrible. Like that just doesn't add up to me. So, oh, Andrew, thank you. Welcome to all the new members. All a bunch of bullshit and a power push. 100%. So because we want to have, like, obviously a running commentary while we're watching this, Sleuthy is going to play the video of CrimeCon so that we can have it without an echo, because like I said earlier, I want to make sure that we have her commentary without it disrupting you guys in chat. So hey, Jesse. So whenever she's set up for that, we'll start that. So let me just check chat and make sure, like I said, I think that I don't even know if he does anything anymore. I don't follow, but a lot of like creators have changed over to other platforms like Rumble. There's a couple other ones. I haven't, so I'm not 100% familiar, but that's the last I knew. And I said, I heard the extra police were because of the recent CK assassination. There have been a lot of mass casualty events in the past few months. Well, that would have been after CrimeCon. So I don't know about that. She said the extra security was based on threats that were posted on the CrimeCon page. So any of you guys that want to go check that out and see what kind of threats were on there, they may have even been deleted. So it's still not to say that that there wasn't something legit, but just threats due to pushback doesn't make sense to me. Michael says it's not inconceivable that there were threats. Hell, I've been threatened. Imagine little old me. Well, I think, that's what I'm saying. But like, is the threat like I'm coming for you? Like, I mean, what is the threat level? I guess I would say due to pushback. The call is coming from inside the house. If there was, my bets are on Grayson doing it. OCH. Oh shit. If you guys are following all the stuff with Lauren, Grayson, Christina, the whole stalker thing, Sleuthy has put together a Sleuthy spreadsheet that has tons of information, documents, body cams, stuff that'll give you like actual factual information versus a 9-hour live of bullshit. So make sure you check that out. Right. You know what, Rosie? Such a fucking great point. If security is a concern, why would Susan Hendricks just go live and be like, Jerry Holman's wife's here? Yeah, she'll be here, and Jerry's here, and Nick's here, and the families are all here. There's such a threat, but she's just like, let me just name every person that's here for the public who has all this pushback. That is such a great point. Yeah, they think they are. That's for sure.
Where did you send this thing?
In Messenger.
I don't see it.
I think I said something like, here's the link in case you need to play it because of the echo.
Oh, you did. Okay.
It's CrimeCon 2025 Delphi.
Okay. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're here. Okay. I was trying to figure out if I actually read this comment or if I just started to and then stopped. It's crazy to me that they don't give a shit about the truth. It's mind-boggling. Yeah. Well, I think what they gave a shit about was covering their own asses for the incompetent investigation they did. And then everything else after that was just to make sure that fell in line with Richard Allen being guilty.
I'm booting up.
They made me a Shrek. I was bullied. I was threatened. I need extra security.
Imagine being such a wuss.
A wrench. Yeah, a wrench. Yeah. Crime fighters. They were crime fighters of the year, you guys. Crime fighters of the year. Imagine it taking even if you get the real person, 7 years to get any type of conviction on a case that you have completely fucked up, and you get awards for it and promotions for it. It is beyond mind-boggling. It's fucking nuts.
It's actually kind of embarrassing.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. It could be like the tickle monster. I'm gonna get you. And they're like, oh, somebody threatened me.
I'm gonna tickle you.
Jerry's belly's just jiggling. If we don't play this soon, we're gonna get people in chat anxiety attacks. She's getting it ready. She's getting it ready.
Just hold your horses. I had to
We're gonna have to hire extra security. These people in chat, they're saying they're gonna get me.
I feel threatened.
I feel threatened.
I'm afraid for my life.
Lacey, I don't disagree with you. It's ironic though, because it was one of those that I didn't see for a while. I actually enjoyed listening to her coverage on the Lori Vallow case. And now just like things that have happened, you know, not everybody sees it right away. And I was definitely one of them that didn't. Hey, True Tammy, I didn't see it right away.
It wants me to restart for update.
No, we don't have time for that. Holy shit. He said I have to go take a Jerry and then wipe my almond. Oh my god, it's so bad. Oh, their statements can probably be used a lot earlier than that. Critical thinker. I missed what critical thinker said. Let me try to go back up. Why don't I not see it? Hey, Tammy. Have no fear. The underdog is here. You gotta ask why, after his confessions to Reese Davis, Ron Logan was not arrested and charged. Because they didn't want him to be the guy. Hey, Nico. I agree, who dis? Where was MS during CrimeCon? I don't know. Did they go? I don't know. I can't stand those people. Oh, hey. She just made me all like big faced. Didn't even give me the little window, gave me the big window. Fox bought CrimeCon, so I assume everything would be to Fox standards, whatever they are. There she is.
So my mother called me because
yeah, they were there. That's right. Go ahead.
My kid has his Halloween party tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And he has like 5 costumes, but 2 of them he can't wear because they blow up. So like he's not gonna be able to get like on and off the bus and stuff. And the other one is like it's a skeleton thing that would really be perfect, but it zips and stuff in the back and it's like super tight.
Okay.
And like I don't want him to piss himself. So
Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah, so like we were like trying to figure out what to send him in, and needless to say, my mother is now at Walmart the day before my kid's Halloween party, trying to find something he could wear, and they already have the Christmas stuff out, and
Yeah, that's not going to go well. You got
yeah, she found one costume that's in his size, and it's a military one, so that's what he's going to be.
okay.
Well, that's like the only thing that doesn't zip in the back. Like everything that's there zips in the
Yeah.
back, which is kind of stupid.
So since we're off topic just a hot minute, my kid has 2 Halloween costumes. Neither can he wear for his Halloween party at school.
Annoying.
One is would be considered violent, I guess, and the other has a mask, and you can't wear a mask.
Yep, same. That's
So, yeah.
It's like the girls are the only ones that are safe with all their costumes. You know what I mean?
Good luck with that.
What?
I don't know what a Kool-Aid man is. I've heard of the Kool-Aid man, but I don't know what a Kool-Aid man is. So good luck finding that, though.
My computer decided to do updates, so it's restarting. So I don't know if you want to start and then I'll take over, or if you want to, and I can just be quiet, I guess, or try to.
I can, or I can bitch about Dr. Pepper if you want.
You could do that too. Whatever you want to do.
Hi, Marshall. Just wear a fuck ton of purple. There you go. You can just be a grape. Is it the Kool-Aid man is red? But I don't know what the Kool-Aid man is. So maybe coal, but it's like not spelled like regular coal. I don't know. Yeah, we could totally talk about the Dr. Pepper. How long does it say you have on your updates? Because I can vent about this because I wanted to do it anyway. I want to know if people are having the same Dr. Pepper issue I'm having in California.
Well, it doesn't say how long, but it just went from 7 to 25. So now 26, 27, 28. So percent, I mean.
Okay. Well, then I'll do my little mini Dr. Pepper bitch, and then if it's still not done, then I'll play it. So the last 2 weeks I've gone. You guys know I'm a Dr. Pepper fanatic. The last 2 weeks I've gone to the store to buy Dr. Pepper, and of course they don't have any. Why do they not have any? Yeah, you guys all know I cheated on Dr. Pepper with my 7-Up at one point, but that's neither here nor there. You guys keep that secret to yourselves. So I went to the store to get my Dr. Pepper. They don't have any. No Dr. Pepper. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So this last week I go in, I do my grocery shopping, and it's like buy 5 cases of soda, get them for like $5, which, you know, is still stupid, but that's what it is. So I'm like, okay. So I get the soda, and I'm like, okay, where's my Dr. Pepper? And of course they still don't have any. And then all of a sudden, everywhere I look around, and everything is fucking Mr. Pibb. And I'm like, where the hell? Why is there so much Mr. Pibb? And I didn't even think Mr. Pibb was really around anymore. And I was like, okay, like what's going on here? So, you know, because I go to the same grocery store all the time, the people at the checkouts, they know me, and they're like, you had too much red Kool-Aid, figures. Spiked, hopefully. Then so I go up there, and she's like, did you find everything? And I'm like, no, I cannot find any fucking Dr. Pepper. Like, what is going on? And she's like, you can't find, there's got to be Dr. Pepper. And I'm like, there isn't, and there hasn't been here. This is my 3rd weekend, so 2 weeks that you guys haven't had any. And so she sends.
You need to specially order me some, ma'am.
She sends the kids to the back to go like look and see if they have any back there. I'm like, you're not going to find any. And so anyway, I do some research, and apparently, so Dr. Pepper is its own manufacturer. Like they make their own, like Dr. Pepper makes Dr. Pepper, but they don't have a distributor. She was a manager, but I totally should have been a Karen, but I love these ladies, so I wasn't. So they have, Coke actually distributes Dr. Pepper into stores. Well, Coke apparently has bought Mr. Pibb. So now they have their own version of Dr. Pepper, even though they're not the fucking same thing. They're just not the same thing. And they have like revamped the flavor of Mr. Pibb, and they're like, that's what they're going to be putting out. So Coke is no longer distributing Dr. Pepper. And apparently the new distributor, being possibly, potentially 7-Up has not been stocked with the Dr. Pepper yet to be able to bring it into the stores.
This is unacceptable. Who do we write a letter to?
I don't know. So let me just tell you, I had the cases of soda for the rest of the family, and I needed to get my Dr. Pepper. And since they didn't have any, I still had to buy 5. So I just want clarification on this. Is not by choice, but I am currently drinking the new Mr. Pibb.
So you have 5 cases of Mr. Pibb.
No, because the other kid, everybody else in the family drinks something different.
Oh,
so I buy my husband drinks Pepsi Zero, my son likes Coke Zero. So everybody has like their own thing. Dr. Pepper's mine. So a strongly worded letter, yes, strongly worded letters regarding the fact that why in the hell I'm not talking just like a little bit of Mr. Pibb in the grocery store. I'm talking like there was end caps of it. There is displays at the end of every checkout. And I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Yeah, Keurig makes Dr. Pepper and Coke and Pepsi, and Coke and Pepsi. Yeah, so Keurig is who owns Dr. Pepper.
Keurig, like the...
It's awful. I know, right?
Like the machine?
No, the company Keurig. They're their own company. They make Dr. Pepper. That's why I said Dr. Pepper isn't made by Coke or Pepsi.
I'm on my computer, by the way.
Okay, that can't be the real DB.
There's someone going around with a name. True Crime Fraudit. That's not DB, is it?
This can't be DB because DB has a wrench on my channel, and this DB does not.
So I can't see the ats, so like I can in other chats, and I wonder if that person's at is that True Crime Fraudit, and not our DB.
Yeah, there's our DB right there.
DB, go and see whose channel that is. You should be able to click on it.
I don't know. Is it a backup account of yours, or is it just somebody impersonating you? Diet Right. I haven't seen Diet Right in like a hot minute, Paul. Yeah, I have not seen that for a while. Dr. Pepper did used to have the best slogans. Dr. Pepper can end partnership with Coke bottler after recent ruling. Yeah, see, that's bullshit, CH. So now Dr. Pepper is a rabbit hole itself. The fuck? Why? I know. I mix half Dr. Pepper and half Dr. Pepper Zero. I call it Dr. Pepper 50. It's very smart. Very smart.
Okay, what does that taste like though?
It probably tastes like Dr. Pepper Zero.
No, yours, the Pibb.
Verner's like ginger ale. I have had Verner's ginger ale. I don't know about anything else. I don't know what else they make. I saw a channel with different names using DB's picks. That doesn't surprise me. That's your backup's backup? Okay. Well, don't bring that shit in here because it's going to get blocked because I think it's a fake. Yeah, leave my Dr. Pepper alone. You were just in Cali and thought it was just because you were in Cali. You can get sweet tea. Sweet tea you can get. It's just not as ready-made as like southern states. But the best sweet tea, like fast food wise, is Chick-fil-A in Southern California. You can also get it at McDonald's, but theirs is like a little overbrewed most of the time.
You guys have been so patient.
I know. Listening to my...
I'm going to leave on my computer, on my phone.
Okay. She keeps doing that to me. So you guys can see like all my blemishes. Like a teenager. Hi, ATS. You like McDonald's sweet tea? If you get it in the morning, it's okay because it's more fresh. But if you get it in the afternoon, it's just been sitting there and it's not as good. But Chick-fil-A's sweet tea, chef's kiss. You're learning a lot about pop tonight. Well, I'm learning a lot about the origins of where you guys are from when you call it pop or soda.
Let me pull it up.
Oh, probably furry. Yeah, probably. I too am cutting down on sugar. Hope to cut down on inflammation and have fewer migraines. Did Sleuthy just show us her beauty? She's like,
See?
let me show Teresa's blemishes up close and personal, and then I'll come on here and be all pretty for you. It's popping. Yeah, I know.
Absolutely not.
Pop in the Midwest.
You know,
Pop
I
in
got
the
it. I was, so I thought I was gonna, so I got an IUD today. And
well, thank you, because this goes right along with the conversation we were having. Thank you for that nice segue. Go ahead.
Well, and they said, so like this whole time, so like they kept saying general anesthesia, and I'm like, why the fuck do I have to be under general anesthesia to get an IUD? It wasn't making any sense to me, but I just like went along with it anyway. And so I get there and they're like, oh no, we're just gonna like sedate you. And I'm like, oh, I'm cool with that. Like I could breathe on my own still. I'd like to be able to, you know. Anyway, super long story short, I've been under anesthesia today. So forgive me for all the things, my appearance, how long it took me to boot up my computer. Just give me a break, people, okay? Give me a fucking break.
I didn't know where the fuck we were going with that. I was just letting it go. I was like, I don't know. Well, there's obviously an end game here with the IUD, and maybe it has to do with Dr. Pepper or CrimeCon. I don't know which one we're going with, but it's gonna be one or the other.
No, it was just that I need a little bit of forgiveness this evening.
Okay. So there you go, you guys. There you guys go. Yeah, this is totally leading into the secret cervix, 100%.
All right, I forget how to do this. Okay, wait. Okay, so share screen.
Oh, bunch of boobies. Oh, I can get rid of mine. Hold on, let me get rid of that one. We don't need that one up there anymore.
Okay.
Right, Jamie? I know. She's still winning at life. I've never heard of that either, but I've also never had one.
Well, so basically, yeah, you get to, the patient's happier, you get to bill more. I think it's a matter of too, like, not wanting to, I think it's just easier to get in and out, if you know what I mean, whenever like somebody's not moving, they're not cramping, you're not like, oh, that hurts, that, you know, they can just do what they need to, and then that's it, wake you back up. All right, let me turn up.
Definitely probably easier to get in and out if you have an IUD.
720.
I would agree. Less precautions need to be taken prior to the in and out effect of what's going on.
Oh, I didn't get any pain meds. They gave yeah, add to stage.
That's what he said. I know.
They gave me the propofol.
She just sets it up so perfect. Why is it such a weird little screen? We are. We're trying, Jesse. We're trying. There we go.
Where's my old layout? Where's the one I made for us for Karen Reed's thing?
No idea. I don't even know where I'm going. Okay.
All right. Are you people ready at this point? Are you ready now?
Zeke, I see what you did there. But
how is that not a? How do we not have that sound?
Oh, I don't know. We totally need that. But yeah, for sure. Especially for you, because like half the things you say, you don't even pick up on it, and you just keep rolling like it's you're talking. You just don't even. You're just like, yeah, this is it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what she said.
Sometimes I catch it, and I'm like, maybe if I pretend like I didn't say it, and we just keep talking about something else, then maybe she'll forget. But then, as soon as there's a moment for you to bring it back,
it doesn't go. It doesn't. I feel like I can't let it go.
All right, people.
Do a sound check.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, I reckon. Hold on.
I reckon.
Some tips that we had to go through all.
Can you hear a stupid voice?
Yes, I can hear it.
All of them. And it.
Can the chat hear a stupid voice? Can you see his fat double chin? Can you see both chins? Sounds awful. Yeah. I think that's just because
Perfect, Amanda. And you do hear him correctly.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Oh wait, I wonder if there's like a sound. It wasn't state. No, it wasn't that. Wasn't there like a sound? No, I thought there was like something that I used to do here. No. All right,
idea.
people, that's just what it's going to sound like. All right, ready?
It took a lot of time and effort, but 69,999.
Wait, Teresa, tell people what we're watching. They forgot. It's been a long time.
Oh, yeah, because we have been on for 40 minutes. We are watching CrimeCon 2025, the Delphi conversation with Jerry Holman, Nick McClelland, conducted by Susan Hendricks. 2025 CrimeCon was held between September 5th and September 7th in Denver, Colorado.
Thanks for that. So just a couple months ago.
Hey, Labran.
Of them weren't the one we were looking for. So once we got the one we were looking for, the team did a great job of collecting the facts and the evidence and presenting it to Nick and his team, and the rest is history.
30 seconds and I need to pause it.
I know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This fucking guy comes out, first thing it says they got 70,000 tips. Just the tips. 69,999 of them didn't mean anything, but one did.
He said once we got the one that did, it's like, sir, that was like tip number 74. Like, what do you mean? You had it all that time.
74, and it wasn't even it was him. It was Richard Allen saying, hey, I was at the bridge that day. Not a tip of like, hey, somebody go check out Richard Allen because we think he's a little sus. It's not even a fucking real tip, as he's trying to say. So right off the bat, he's already manufacturing information to sell to the public who is listening to this bullshit at CrimeCon. They paid for people. These people paid to go in and listen and be lied to right out the gate.
And it's a question that many of us have heard and get. So I'll ask you, Nick, do you believe beyond a shadow of a doubt they have the right guy, that he was found guilty of the double murder? Do you believe?
This was after he was found guilty. What is Nick supposed to say? No, I think I convicted the wrong man.
And he's going to be like, nah, we totally manufactured that case.
Yeah.
And he's probably innocent, but oh well, too bad.
Like, that was just a stupid fucking question.
You had the right guy, and why?
Yes, absolutely. The evidence is there. He placed himself on the bridge. We're able to show that he is the man on the bridge. He's the last person that had contact with the girls. We're able to tie him to the crime scene. And then you have his confessions. And so I believe that he is the right guy. I believe the jury came down with the correct verdict, and he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
And the bullet. Talk about the bullet and the striations. I was there that day in court, and it was very technical for me, but I've heard it is, and I believe, almost like a fingerprint, the unspent bullet of striations in the bullet.
That's the way it was explained to me, that it's a fingerprint and they can match the bullet to a gun. I believe in the science. I sat through with the lab tech for many hours, and we talked and discussed how they get to that determination that the bullet matches the gun. And so I believe in the science, and so I believe that the bullet found there at the crime scene came from the gun that was owned by Richard Allen.
Are you muted?
Yeah, I was thinking about all the things I wanted to screen, but I just don't. I can't.
So for anybody who came in late, I did give this disclaimer at the beginning. Make sure that you've taken your high blood pressure medication. If you need a drink, if you need a cocktail or smoke a bowl or take a gummy, whatever you've got to do, because I've only heard a couple small snippets of this. And that one, the beginning part, was one of the snippets I did hear. But I haven't watched this in its entirety yet. And I'm telling you right now, it is rage inducing because these guys are such unbelievable liars and manipulators. And for people who've actually paid attention to the case, it does. It raises your blood pressure. They were not a direct match. That's another lie. Like, I hope somebody will sit down and actually go, lie, here's the truth, lie, here's the truth. Like, because this whole thing is just full of lies.
I mean, they're actual pieces of shit, but why does he look like this?
I don't know. He's not aging well. He was an attractive younger man.
Not at all.
He's definitely aging very poorly, and he can't get his hairstyle choice correct no matter what he tried.
When he first got on the case, like, if you didn't know it and you were just looking at him, like, when he first got on the case versus, like, in this, you would think 2 decades went by.
Right.
Not like 5-6 years.
If you could describe Delphi for those many people who haven't been, it is kind of like a quaint town like Pleasantville, and you're third generation.
Sure. Carroll County as a whole is only 20,000 people, a very rural community, a lot of farmers, blue-collar workers. Delphi, I'm not sure the population of Delphi, probably around 1,000 people in total in the city limits. Just a very small town, kind of Leave It to Beaver type of town where everybody left their doors unlocked, left the keys in their vehicles, and just kind of that quintessential, small town.
He forgot to say the meth.
I've watched Leave It to Beaver as old as that show is. I have watched it, and I can guarantee there was no methamphetamine manufacturing going on. There was no drug addicts having sex under the bridge. There was no men of the age of in their 40s that were having sex with 16-year-olds in their backseat. That is not a Leave It to Beaver town. And then you have now self-admitted Norse pagan racists, essentially, living in that city. I'm not sure Leave It to Beaver ever had that. So stop trying to play like this is like the nice little quintessential town of old school Indiana. It is not. It's fucking dirty and underhanded.
Agreed. He forgot to mention the meth, which is like a big problem.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said like the methamphetamine manufacturing tied to just this case is obscene, much less the town of Delphi.
And the pedophiles.
Arson. Yeah, let's talk about all the arson in Carroll County.
Arsonists, pedophiles,
Twin
meth
Peaks
heads, tweakers, yeah. I feel like there's something else that I'm forgetting. Oh, the racists. That's a big one.
Right. This is why his nose is fucked up.
Either his ears are growing or his head is shrinking. Like his head is shrinking, but like his ears are not. His nose looks like it's growing downward. Susan's questions are just really dumb. I don't know how they keep picking her to do this.
Because she does what they want.
True.
And where we kind of know everybody, it's not uncommon if somebody...
It does look like a witch's nose. Minus the wart.
Somebody comes in the restaurant and we don't know him, that person probably is not from there or just moved there. It's just a very, very small town.
And did you...
So then how did no one recognize Richard Allen? Even when he was the defendant? Like, even once you arrested him, how did no one that was there recognize him? Am I crazy?
Security for this.
What?
They had to step up security for this.
Go to the bridge in high school? Or?
We did. It's been something that generations of teenagers have done, kind of a rite of passage. You would cross the bridge to kind of test your, I guess, your nerve, I guess, yeah, and you would walk across it. We'd take pictures off of it. We would sit on the platforms and hang our feet off and take pictures. It was just something that the kids in our area have done since I was a kid.
And did you both know, once you found out where this took place, that it had to be a local? Because it's difficult to kind of find your way and figure out where the bridge is.
I think there's a lot of theories out there. maybe it was a drifter. But I think what stuck in my mind, a lot of the team's mind, was the way he walked across that bridge. It wasn't the first time that he'd been there. And I worked Carroll County for years, patrolled, and I never knew that bridge was there. I didn't grow up there.
Okay. How can both of those things be true? Everybody knows about the bridge. Everybody went over the bridge. Everybody knew about the trails. Yet he's worked patrol there for years and didn't even know the bridge existed.
Not a very good patrol officer.
Like you said about people having sex and doing drugs and stuff under the bridge. How were you on patrol and you didn't know about under the bridge? You didn't know the bridge existed.
But we
eating donuts.
I think most.
Nom, nom, nom.
Nom, nom, nom.
I agree with Rochelle. He was testing his lies. He's trying to see how they go off, how if he lies about it, if anybody's going to catch him. If Susan doesn't confront them for two of them saying two different things, one after the other, then they feel safe to keep lying.
People that was heavily involved in the investigation thought it had to be somebody that's been out there before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It had to be somebody from our community or somebody that knew a person in our community and was taken out to the bridge, because it's not something that's easy to find. And Jerry's right. The way he was walking across, you could tell it's someone that had been across that bridge before. It's not their first time, because it is difficult to walk across it just because of the layout of the bridge.
Yeah, and the height of it.
Sure.
Let's talk about once Richard Allen was in custody and the interrogation video that was played in court, if you will, and how important that was.
From the 43-second video, where I would say, and I haven't actually counted it, there's probably, 68 frames, which is equivalent to 2 seconds of showing Bridge Guy walking on that bridge. And he can tell based on that 2 seconds that this person had been on the bridge multiple times and they were comfortable with it, is what he's trying to tell the public here. But for the first couple of years of this investigation, they did not claim that it was a local. They did not know if it was a local. They had no insight to whether it was a local or somebody who was traveling through. And then Abby is in that video more than Bridge Guy is. And so you can tell by the way she's walking versus the way he's walking in 2 seconds that this is her first time on the bridge versus him, who's obviously very comfortable with it, according to Nick.
Yeah. This is their logic, though, and they're talking in hindsight, so.
Right.
Though it's interesting how much they don't say Richard Allen. They just say, like, the person, the guy.
And I thought you did an excellent job, and it's key.
Of course you did, Lisa. I said they didn't actually know any of that. They didn't know any of that, and they're just trying to pretend like, we knew this, and we knew that, and we already had this, and we already had that. And nobody bothers to stand up and be like, then why the fuck did it take you 5.5 years to pin it on somebody? You knew it was a local. Your entire county is only 20,000 people. You have taken hundreds of DNA samples from men, none from women. And yet you could not figure out who this was, even though your chief of police had actually been in CVS speaking with this particular suspect. And Dan Doolin had interviewed him and went on stage the next day and didn't recognize who he was.
I feel like in 8 years, you should have been able to like interview every single person out of the, 3,000 people you say live there?
Right.
And did your lie detectors and your DNA samples and all that stuff. You could have gathered every gun in the entire county.
To point this out, because you were calm and you got him to say certain things or just respond to you.
I was calm
towards the beginning.
What? It was literally the worst interview I've ever seen. Or worst interrogation I've ever seen.
Towards the beginning. And, that's how I start all my interviews. I try to give them the respect. I don't start amping up that until they do. But we met and we talked about the strategy. He'd already been interviewed technically twice. The third time we just wanted to get some questions answered of, have you ever loaned your gun
Technically
out?
twice.
And build a little.
I think he meant Doolin, then Liggett and Mullen, and then him. Because I thought the same thing, and then I answered myself in my head.
That makes sense.
Rapport with him. Have you ever loaned anything out? And then there came a time when we wanted him to take a polygraph. That's all been redacted out, right? So what everybody sees is just me being nice, and then all of a sudden I start yelling and screaming.
Oh, so you got mad because he wouldn't take a polygraph? Like, is that what you're trying to say? Is like they redacted out the polygraph part and that's what made you mad? You know who else wouldn't take a polygraph?
Elvis Fields.
Elvis Fields. You know who else wouldn't take a polygraph? During their actual investigation?
Tobe Lesenby.
Well, probably. Patrick Westphal. In fact, he refused to cooperate with you at all.
Right. That's okay, because once you stop cooperating, they just stop investigating that. That's what he said.
So if only Richard Allen would have just... But then they say that Rick stopped cooperating at the end. Well, then that meant that he was guilty. I took one. I thought it sounded fun. And now I'm in prison.
But there was more to it. I asked him to take a polygraph. He said, no, I'm not taking a polygraph. I'm not helping you guys anymore. I asked his wife if she would take a polygraph. And she said, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. And I said, well, if you were innocent, I was asking you to take a polygraph, just take a polygraph. And then that made him angry.
Why didn't he ask Kathy to take a polygraph?
He's saying he did.
No, he said to Kathy, if you were innocent, would you take a polygraph? And she said, yeah, but he didn't offer one to her.
Well, we haven't seen those interviews.
And he started raising his voice and cussing at me. And then I returned that same enthusiasm to him. So
how is this funny?
Yeah, how is this funny?
How is this funny to that entire conference room?
Yeah, it's funny that he got mad that you kept telling him he was guilty of a crime that he was not guilty of, and then you cussed at him. That's fucking hilarious.
It's just so weird to me. These people are bizarre.
I'm really not like that.
Well, the trial was a month long.
Yeah, I don't believe you. Like at all.
So many exhibits, so many witnesses on the stand, your opening statements, your closing. I wish everyone could have seen that. I could tell the preparation level and what it meant to you to represent Abby and Libby, Nick.
Sure. I mean, it's something that I came in the office on January 1st of 2018, and the investigation, we were about a year into the investigation at that point. And so, I lived it for 5 years before we made an arrest, and then for an additional 2 years preparing for trial and just awaiting trial. And so it's not something that you do at work and then you leave at work. It's just something you carry with you. And, during the 5-year investigation, we would have meetings at least weekly, sometimes more often. I would get daily updates about tips that had come in or someone they had talked to or whatever the case may be. And so it's just something that was every part of my everyday life for 5 years. And so it's hard not to get emotionally involved in it or emotionally attached to it. And then when we got the arrest, you had another 2 years of trial preparation. And with that trial preparation came a whole nother box of problems. Dealing with the defense and answering some of these questions from the defense and just answering their motions and all those kind of things. It just became a whole nother can of worms.
Well, now, I just want to say that his answers to the motions were the bare minimum.
Right.
Like he basically only copied and pasted the PCA to 90% of their filings. Basically, Richard Allen is guilty. He saw 3 girls. 3 girls saw him. His car was on the camera. Defense is lying. Defense is being colorful and dramatic. And they're only partially right. That's literally, he did the absolute bare minimum to respond to them.
Right. These darn defense attorneys out there filing motions, making me have to do my job.
Yeah, how dare they?
Now that you bring it
Deal
up,
with.
how did you get through the toxicity? Because it's unlike anything I've ever seen in terms of the anger and the vitriol. And I do want to point out what the superintendent, Doug Carter, did say right after the sentencing. There was a press conference and you saw clips of it, and he just said, where he said, tone down the rhetoric. What he also said was this wasn't a group think, meaning we disagreed. He even mentioned having an argument with Tope Lesenby and the back and forth with you, Jerry. So it was open to discussion, of course.
Oh, absolutely. We learned a lot from this investigation, but we're not closed-minded. We're open-minded. We had a lot of people involved, and I've never worked with a prosecutor that's worked as hard as Nick and his team. And he was brought in.
Oh, so is this like the ball sucking portion of the evening?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to walk on hot shards for you.
And I wonder if this continues for the remaining 42 minutes. God, he's such an ugly fuck.
Late, but it was a blessing in disguise, I think, having him come on. But, I lived it for 8 years, and I have to say, thanks to my family. So
it's been rough for you. The superintendent.
Thanks to my family for putting up with the fact that I'm a fucking piece of shit.
What a pussy.
What did he say that they brought Nick in? Like, they didn't bring Nick in. He wasn't, like, they're acting like he was the special prosecutor. He became the prosecutor. Nobody brought him in. He actually should have bounced. But
yeah, I don't understand. I'm going to press play and mute for a second so I can look at this costume. Let me see the costume, Mom.
You can just play it. Oh.
Should I rewind? Why are we clapping?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Because he wanted to thank his family. Go ahead, rewind
it. It's
Jerry's wife was in the front row. The superintendent mentioned how you gave up your life. I remember at that presser, he said, very angry.
I have to say, thanks to my family. So
it's been rough for you. The superintendent.
Nick's like, nobody's clapping for me.
Jerry's wife was in the front row. The superintendent mentioned how you gave up your life. I remember at that presser, he said, very angry, Jerry Holman is not a liar, that he gave up years of his life, meaning dedicated your life to this, and became close to Mike and Becky, Anna, the entire family, Tara, Amanda, Kelsey. It's a relationship you'll have forever.
Yeah, the victims' families were great. They're very supportive. They had every opportunity to lose faith in us, but they knew that we weren't going to give up. And the communication with them was just phenomenal. Couldn't ask Mike Patty wanted to be a special deputy so he could come out and help us. But that's, now that I have 8 grandkids, that's exactly how I would have been if I was in his shoes. I've tried multiple.
He wanted to be a special deputy so he could come out and help them.
Times to think, what would I do if I was in that situation? And you just can't do it. So you just got to refocus and say, okay, well, I'm in this situation and this is what we're going to do. We're not going to give up. We're going to follow the facts and the evidence. And when we get the right guy, we're going to present it to the prosecutor. And that's what we did.
It almost felt.
And nothing happened for years and years and years until Kathy Shang found a tip on a piece of paper in a drawer, in a box, in a desk somewhere.
So just for anybody who doesn't know a little bit of the history here, I will say that the Patty family did not always back law enforcement. They were quite pissed at the change of the sketch in 2019. And Becky particularly, who had done a lot of the legwork on sending sketches out to everybody in the county, like anybody in the country who wanted to have like be able to post like in their neighborhoods if anybody knew this person, because like I said, for the first 2 years of the investigation, nobody thought it was just a local guy. They had no idea. They were searching everywhere. The Patties had put up billboards with the first sketch on it, and a lot of it was their own money they were using to do that, or I shouldn't say their own money, money they were raising to do that. To do that, and she was doing a lot of it herself. So whether you like or dislike the Patties, I'm just saying that was a lot of time and effort on her part, and she was quite pissed when they up and changed the sketch, because now she had to essentially redo everything she had done for 2 years. Now, let me just ask you guys, why would she be upset if it was the same guy? If their sketches are so similar, you can't tell the difference, that they're obviously the same guy, like Holman says. The other thing was when Mike Patty and Doug Carter were not getting along, and then Doug Carter invited Mike Patty to go on the tour of interviews with him. And so there's a lot of interviews that are just Doug Carter and Mike Patty, because that's how Doug had to get back in Mike's good graces.
I mean, I would be pissed too, wouldn't you, if I did all that stuff and then I had to go back and redo it all with a new sketch because I've spread this all over the whole world?
Right. So I'm saying that, like, him saying that is just another lie, because they were upset with them.
Well, they can't help themselves. They can't.
Good.
It has to have been flawless. You know what I mean? It has to have been there has to be nowhere to criticize them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's exactly what they want, because they want the public to think that everything they did was normal in the course of business of investigating a double homicide. You know,
Right.
sometimes it just takes time, and we don't always, you know, we have to dig through all these tips, and there's bad tips and there's good tips, and there's, you know, we did the best that we could, and we finally got our guy, and you have to believe us. And it's like, you've done nothing but lie to the public for 8 years. Why does anybody believe you?
Mm-hmm. If I was the family, I wouldn't believe them anymore.
That's a great question, Trial Junkie, and one I've speculated on often. I think because Mike was the face of the families, and he did a lot of media, and I've always wondered, why did Doug did not to make sure that Mike Patty wasn't pissed off at him?
Because he didn't want Mike to go talk shit about how incompetent everybody is.
That's exactly my thought, but I don't know the answer to that, so I can't say.
That's our speculation.
Felt like two different worlds, the world of what I was seeing inside the courtroom with the evidence and what I was hearing and seeing, and then kind of the negativity online. And it's not just disagreement. It's not like, oh, are we sure about X, Y, and Z? It was just constant hate. And I'm hoping, I think, that it's just a small amount of people that keep talking over and over and over again. When I was talking to Nick about...
Well, if that were the case, then why did you have to up security?
Well, also talk about gaslighting the public into thinking that there is a group that are just hate-filled and coming after them, instead of people who are just actually trying to figure out the truth. And the people that you're interviewing, Susan, have answers that you won't ask the questions to. Probably because you're not allowed to, or you won't be invited back.
Right.
But a lot of the people who are this small group of people literally just want to know the truth behind what happened and not be lied to by people that are paid by taxpayers.
Yeah. She has her pre-approved list she's going on.
Somebody just popped in and said, are they late? We talked a lot at the beginning. So we didn't start until about we didn't actually start showing CrimeCon until about 40 minutes in. So you're a little bit late, but there's a lot of commentary. I think we're only like 10 minutes into the actual video of CrimeCon. So.
Coming here, and he talked about the file. You have a file of people to look out for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, this is the first case that I've ever dealt with that was nationally publicized, and that has that on top of the social media kind of genre.
and is in that file.
Are his glasses crooked?
It's his nose that's crooked. So his glasses are always crooked.
Oh.
Behind it. And so it was very new to me. I'd never dealt with anything like this. And you're right. I do think the negative people were a small portion of it, but they had a very loud voice, at least in my bubble, in our world that we dealt with. And, you know, it's something that
Good, die in a hole.
we would talk about at the weekly meetings. And Jerry's right. You know, we had a good support group around us with my co-counsel between Stacey and James Luttrell, but also with Jerry and Tony Liggett and the family. We all kind of just used each other to support each other because there was a lot of negative rhetoric out there that was just simply not true. There was no fact checking, and it would just be, okay, what can we say that's...
What was not true, Teresa?
That's a great question. That they lie. I don't know if that's what he wants to try to say, is like that there's just a lot of stuff that's just not true. I would say he might want to look at the people who actually believe his lies and what they've done to.
That he has hair plugs? Are we talking about the case, or are we talking about lies about you guys, or are we what are we talking about?
Remember, before trial, he put the motion in that he wanted the judge to rule that the defense attorneys couldn't be mean to him at trial.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot
So it
about
definitely has to do with him as a person.
What a whiny little bitch. What can we say to fix that?
What can we say to fix that? Because it's a cookie.
Oh, yeah. The Coke. He probably didn't like that. Why is Nick dressed as a televangelist? Stop.
Going to get more clicks in the moment.
What is this? Is he giving trays to the homeless?
I don't know what he's doing with his hand right there. It's weird.
How much can we sensationalize this to get people's attention? And whether it was true or not, they would just say it. There was no moral compass to see if it was correct or not, or even to back it up with any facts. It would just be, what can I say that is most hurtful because I know that is going to get...
Hurtful to who? So this is about you. This is about what was hurtful to you.
Right. Because he's not clarified that.
He's going to clarify it?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, well, I mean, this feels pretty clarifying, like, because they wrote 136 pages of facts to back up the things they were saying. And his response was like, it's not entirely true, but he didn't say what wasn't true. So a lot of it was true then. So he's talking about it being hurtful. If it was hurtful, that means you didn't like the things they were saying personally about you.
Right.
But you have no, like, proof that what they said wasn't true. It's just that you're saying it's not true.
Right. And then he wants to know what they can do to fix it. Which is an interesting thing to say. Right. That's this whole thing is like there was people out there saying things that weren't true, and we would talk about like what can we do to fix it?
What does that mean? Like threaten people with contempt, or like what does that mean?
No, great question. There's no clarification here.
Do better.
But there is later on when I haven't seen. If he clarifies anything about this, I didn't get to see that clip yet.
More people to my website or my podcast or my YouTube channel.
And do you think the fact that the investigation was closed off, which I understand, you don't want to disrupt the integrity of the investigation, do you think it perpetuated that? Meaning, I remember the day there was an announcement, like finally an arrest, and Carter kind of prefaced it and said, you're not going to like what Nick has to say coming up here. And you said, this will be sealed, the probable cause affidavit. And I'm in the newsroom going, oh no, because that just fueled the flames of...
Sure. I got a lot of negative comments about that, and I knew I was going to, but my main concern was to make sure that the defendant had a fair trial and also that the state. And I firmly believe in FOIA.
That the state what?
Wait till you hear what he says right here.
Oh.
And I firmly believe in everyone's right to have access to public records.
Can you back it up just a hot second?
Not to the point where the right at the state. And I firmly believe in FOIA, and I firmly believe in everyone's right to have access to public records, but not to the point where it compromises the integrity of a case. That is my sticking point. And if it means the public has to wait longer to get that information, then so be it.
Okay, the trial's over. So what's the reason
Right.
now that we can't have it?
Right. Why will he still not put things out publicly? Why are there still things being hidden? Because according to them, they've got their guy. They did it.
Why is he still responding to public records requests with that the case against Richard Allen is still open? What case? He's responding to people saying that the case is still open and it would compromise the ongoing case against him. There is there is an appeal that is currently pending, but that's not your case against him. That's an appeal.
That has nothing to do with Nick.
Most important thing to me.
Why does he do this? What is this? It's like, what is this? It's like holding a gun. Why does he do this? Why does he do this with his hands?
He does it with both of his hands.
And
though,
the
too.
weird
really
thing
weird.
that he did with his, remember that weird piano thing he was doing?
Yeah, the hand on the. I don't have that one in there. I'm surprised I don't.
You do not.
Yeah, he does the hand like this, like puts his hand out all weird, and then and he's got these and he was doing that earlier, like with the double, like where he was like.
That's what I'm saying. He uses his knuckles. What is he doing?
I don't know.
It's uncomfortable. It's like you're. I don't know. He's a. I don't think I
can hold
in my world.
Like what?
To make sure that the state and the defendant have a fair trial in the courtroom. And I have to just put aside those public requests and those public wants because those aren't most important to me in that moment. It's making sure that everything that happens in the courtroom is fair and equal.
And you did say.
So that the state and the defense could have a fair trial. So that the state he'd argue that in court. And she was like, "Oh yeah." And Gold was like, "I agree with you. The state definitely."
But then he was like, "They shouldn't be able to bring up anything. They should not be able to bring up anything, and I should be able to bring up everything I want, and that's fair."
Right. For chat, I don't know if you guys are just being facetious or not, but Shibby is always welcome. I don't give a shit where he goes. He is Shibby, and he can come here and go wherever he wants to go. So if that's an issue, I apologize to you guys, but he's always been welcome here. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know if you guys are being facetious, but I don't care what channel he watches or where he hangs out.
I think they.
Okay.
I think they were joking with each other, from what I could tell.
I think so too, but I don't know. That's why I just wanted to make sure because it's hard to read, like tone and tenor, as Bob would say. Especially
when I've missed some.
Yeah,
it is trigger finger, Johnny. That's literally what I was. He looks like he only has two hand. It's either like this or like this.
Say that it was sealed because at that particular time you weren't sure if they're, in your words, other actors, because at that time you didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't have any evidence that there were any other actors, but it's always.
What did he say at that hearing? Didn't he say that they have reason to believe? So that would mean that there was evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have reason to believe that he's not the only person involved in this. So why is he now saying that they didn't have any other evidence that there was anybody else involved?
Well, that was his whole thing that at the press conference was why he wanted to have the probable cause affidavit sealed, was because they were still looking
into other people. And that the probable cause affidavit would tip those people off. Did you ever remember reading anything in the PCA that might have tipped off a third party?
No. There's nothing in there.
No.
Except for Liggett's bullshit.
Which, remind me, what is that? What do you mean Liggett's bullshit?
Just about because it's all written by him. Like the whole middle section that they like to copy and paste.
Yeah. That was the first time I've ever seen a probable cause affidavit, like the officer that wrote it get their name redacted from it.
Where's Fiend? Where's page 8?
Okay, but it wasn't just page 8. It was literally like at the end when it talks about investigator so-and-so looked into Teresa and they redacted investigator the name.
Right. Because of all the bloodlust.
Oh, I forgot about the bloodlust.
Bloodlust, yeah. Everybody's going at all the threats.
Maybe the bloodlust is like what gave him the weird hand movements. Why does she looks so tiny next to him? I don't think he's a big man, is he? She must be a really tiny human. And his clothes just always look like they're ready to bust at the seams, don't they? Why are we looking at his crotch? He has like a male camel toe.
He does have a
Difficult for law enforcement and me specifically to close the doors on all avenues.
His tie is like trapped in there. Like he moves his body and the tie stays like it's caught in there.
Look, you made me look. I had to see if it was really trapped.
It is trapped. I'm not lying. It's trapped. Watch. When he turns his body, it stays. It's trapped.
I didn't want to look.
It's trapped in between his balls and his thigh. Watch. Just watch.
Really difficult for. Yeah, we didn't have any evidence that there were any other actors, but it's always difficult for law enforcement and me specifically to close the doors on all avenues. I really don't like to be closed-minded or have blinders on. We didn't know if someone else may have been with the defendant or someone else may have set up the meeting, or we just didn't know if there was something else out there. And to close the door on that just didn't make me feel right. And so I wanted to keep that open just in case we found additional evidence or the defendant wanted to come talk to us. No, we've never found anything that.
Okay, Jerry's sitting right beside him, and Jerry has been very vocal about the fact that he still swears to this day that Keegan Kline had something to do with those girls going to the bridge. But the prosecutor just said he has no evidence that that happened.
Showed anybody else was involved except Richard Allen.
I also remember you saying there were days, and this was the announcement, I believe it was October 31st.
This is for you, Teresa. And it's meant to say tie, not toe. Toe. Susan looks like she just realized what was happening. Like she looked in the camera and saw that that Nick's crotch is just out in the open for everybody to look at.
She's looking down. She's like, "Get your tie. Fix your tie stuck in your balls.
Cross your fucking legs, sir." Didn't anyone ever teach you how to sit on TV? Cross at the ankles or something.
2022 that you'll remember forever. The day your kids are born, the day you buy your first house, and you said the day that Abby and Libby, of course, went missing, and the day that you had the probable cause.
And the day that Nick decided to assault all of us with his fear boner that now we've all been able to not look away from.
That was enough to make an arrest. And we were talking yesterday, and I said, there was a probable cause with Ron Logan. But you said the investigation, of course, went on, and they looked into other people, but never enough for an arrest. No one could ever be tied to the crime scene.
Sure.
Except the man who was found.
Tied. See what she did there?
She did. She gave him a hint. She was like, tied. You're tied. Check your tie.
Now we have to see if she says tie over and over again.
She's looking down. She's like, oh my God, I fucking see his tie in his balls.
Guilty.
We interviewed thousands of people and served hundreds of search warrants or got consent to searches, and you know, we left no stone unturned. And the theory of, you know, we framed this guy. I mean, we looked at a lot of.
Jerry really gives away what's on the top of his head, and it's not much hair. It's the guilt of the fact that they did kind of frame him. You know what I mean? He's like not talking about anything. Like he just randomly brings it up about, I got angry in my interview. We framed him. I'm sure the bullet's going to come up, the bullet not matching. I'm sure the confessions is going to blurt out of his mouth at some point. Like, he gives himself away. Somebody called it leakage or spillage or something. That's like what he does. He can't help it.
People that personally I would have, they were bad people.
Right.
But
Personally, I would have chosen to frame them, but nobody agreed with me, so we didn't until we found Rick Allen.
the evidence did not lead us to get probable cause for an arrest, other than Richard Allen.
We have different burdens of proof in the legal world, and one of them is probable cause. And you have to have probable cause to make an arrest. You also have to have probable cause to have a judge issue a search warrant for property or for a phone or for a vehicle. But they're different in this sense. When you're looking for probable cause for a search warrant, you're telling the judge, I believe there's evidence of a crime in this location, whether it be the phone, the house, a vehicle. And so that probable cause outlines the evidence that you've collected to establish why you think there's additional evidence in this place. In drug dealing cases, we always grab the phone and we search it because oftentimes drug dealers use their phone to contact their supplier, contact their buyers. And through training and experience, we know that that is typical. And so we get a probable cause for a search warrant to search that phone. That's different than probable cause, at least in my mind, for an arrest. For probable cause and arrest, you have to lay out the evidence that you have that this person committed the crime, how they're tied to the crime scene, how they're tied to the victims, whatever the case may be, for an arrest. So they're both probable cause, but they're different avenues and they're different. So because you have probable cause for a search warrant for somebody's house or phone or car does not mean you have probable cause to arrest them for a crime. They're just different. And so we did several probable causes for search warrants for various things, for hundreds of people. That is a tactic we use to investigate crimes. I would venture to say it's a tactic that the whole world uses to investigate crimes. Yeah. But that is different than probable cause for an arrest. The only probable cause we had for an arrest was for Richard Allen.
And it was the first time I was at a jury selection, and I was there, and I remember you saying, which is key, and it pertains to being at CrimeCon with all the new discoveries in genealogy and DNA. And you said part of your questions was, do you think it's going to be like the TV shows where it's you absolutely have to have that ties the person to it?
Sure. Okay, we're in a culture of the CSI.
We do know that they were given search warrants for a ton of people, places, phones. The problem was Unified Command did not execute.
Mm-hmm.
They did not execute these search warrants. So him sitting there saying, we got probable cause for these search warrants, they did. They just never did anything with them. Not all of them. They did some, but not all of them. So it's like you're being gaslit about what they're investigating. Like, oh my God, they had hundreds of search warrants. Okay, so what did you do with them? What did you do with the search warrants?
We just got them.
We just got them. We've got hundreds of people's DNA. Okay, well, what did you do with it? Nobody's asking that follow-up question. So it's like, this is why they're like, we're not lying. Okay, in that technicality right there, they're not technically lying, but nobody's asking the follow-up question of whatever happened with that. What did you do with these hundreds of search warrants that were signed off on by judges? What did you do to execute them?
Well, because he says, we got all of these warrants and whatnot, and we didn't find any evidence to secure an arrest. And that's supposed to be like the adequate answer. So they're implying that they served them all and they didn't find anything.
Right. That's what they're letting the public believe, but we know that's not true.
Right. But when they searched Rick's, they really didn't find anything either, except for the gun that they say the bullet matched. And the jacket that had no DNA on it or nothing. And I keep hearing rumors that like Kathy has a receipt that he didn't even buy that jacket until after the murders. But like that would have been something pretty fucking important to, in my opinion, have brought into the trial.
Right.
If that were the case.
But I mean, I'd have to go back and through transcripts maybe you remember off the top of your head, I don't think they really used much of the blue coat besides the photo of it in like questioning one person. I don't think they even, I think it was like clear. It was like nothing was found. Like there was no DNA of the girls found in anything that had to do with Rick. Not his car, not his person, not his clothes, not his home.
Right. Mm-mm-mm.
Effect, I called it, where, and there are multiple variations of the CSI show, and I would hope that everybody's seen at least one version of that show. But in that show, they have everything fits in a nice little package with a bow, right? They have fingerprints and DNA at the scene, and they have the crime on video a lot of times, and that's just not real world. There are a lot of times we have a crime where we don't have DNA, we don't have fingerprints.
But you did here, though. You just didn't match your defendant.
Right.
Is he going to say that? Is he going to say they had DNA?
What do you think he's going to talk about the fact that they had DNA they put into CODIS that ended up belonging to an investigator because they contaminated the crime scene?
Or that they have a bunch of unknown male DNA that doesn't match Rick Allen?
DNA is a lot harder to transfer to a point where you can get a good sample to establish a profile than what they show on TV.
Sure.
This is the CSI effect.
But he hopes that everyone in the room has seen at least one version of CSI.
Right. Well, this is the whole, people are expecting that we like solved this case like right away, but it doesn't always happen like that. It takes time. We've got to go through all these things. We have hundreds of search warrants. We have all this DNA, blah, blah, blah. And again, none of that had anything to do with anything because you didn't do anything with it.
What about touch DNA? They're making profiles of that. And that's barely any kind of anything. I mean, you barely got to touch something.
Right. Zachariah Anderson.
In fact, you don't even have to touch the thing that the thing is on. You just have, you could touch something and then that thing come in contact with something at a crime scene and there be DNA there. So I really don't want to hear that.
And so it's very, very rare, at least in my
rare, it's very rare
area of Indiana, that we have DNA tying a person to the scene. Much of our evidence is based on witness testimony, confessions from the defendant, physical evidence we find there besides DNA. And so it's just not.
Like what, Teresa? Oh, the bullet. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, the unspent round.
The bullet. Okay, the bullet. Okay.
I always ask the jury, if you're expecting the state to have a nice little package with a bow on it like they do on TV, that's not reality. And if you have that expectation, you may not be the right juror for this case. You may be an appropriate juror for another kind of case, whether it be a...
Because you expect me to actually have evidence against the defendant, and that's not going to work. You're probably not the right juror because I don't fucking have evidence against this defendant, and I need you to just buy what I'm selling. Trust me, bro. Like, that's literally Nick's motto in this case.
Look at his face. He literally makes my...
One of the people who does like Sergio, or one of the people who does like the body language and the...
I would love for Sergio to do this. I haven't seen any videos about Rick's case at all since the last... Well, he was like talking about Keegan Kline, and he was talking about Ron, but I would like to know his opinion on this.
If anybody has that contact, maybe... Hi, Mark and Betty. Welcome back. I hope that somebody will look into whether these people are having truthful or dishonest body language and facial expressions.
Oh, he started a business? I don't know. All right, I'm going to play.
Civil case or some other kind of case.
Oh, if you want actual evidence, then maybe you should go to a civil case, not a criminal one. Listen, that's what he
So
said.
if you have that expectation, you may not be the right juror for this case. you may be an appropriate juror for another kind of case, whether it be a civil case or some other kind of case.
Okay,
And so
pause that real quick. So the threshold for guilt in a civil case is less.
Right.
Is less than. They have to have less evidence in a civil case than they do in a criminal case. So that is actually ass backwards.
Is he 46? I hope I don't age that much in 10 years.
I'm 46.
Yeah, but you didn't already. I haven't gotten there yet. So I'm saying I hope if I do get there, shun me. I feel like what happened to him? Really? Can we like pull up a picture of what he looked like at the I'm gonna find a hold on. I'm gonna
I
find
have
it.
him.
Pull
You
up
want
a
him
picture.
you want him at the first press conference?
Yes.
Okay.
So what year was that? 2018 or 19? 18. No,
I mean, he's just such a better looking guy back then.
it might have been 19.
There.
Where is it? Yeah. Like a totally different person.
Why did that go away? Where did it go? Why did it go away? It's like, no, you can't see that. There it is. I don't know why it won't let me click on it, but yeah. And yeah, he was a good looking dude.
He really was.
Now
It's
he's like haggard.
It's like he got in and then he realized what all was like actually going on and what he was now like a part of, and then it just
Prosecutor McClelland plans to be tough on crime.
the one on the left with the black background, is that the arrest one? Oh my gosh, I bled a bunch. Holy
This one?
shit.
Yeah. He's definitely different. There's his dad. An arsonist. Yeah. I mean, even how much he's changed from the arrest presser.
Let me see that. Yeah. Well, yeah, he still was he was looking kind of grody there,
Nose
but
wasn't broken then. Like, I'd really like to know like what the hell happened to his nose. Maybe it was broken then. It is a little crooked. It wasn't crooked back in the day though.
he just aged
Not like that.
profusely.
He's aged terrible.
Yeah.
There you go, Travis. Our attorney coming in.
All right.
I always try to educate the jury that, what you see on TV is not what you see in reality. We're also not going to have the crime, catch the killer, and have the trial all in an hour. It's just not going to happen. And so you just have to tell the jury that don't expect it to be like CSI, because it's just not.
And in every court case, as you know.
And because we're where we're at, there's a wonderful podcast called The Detectives.
Oh, yes.
They I had to give them a plug.
Yeah.
Was anybody else prepared for him to say murder sheet?
I was totally prepared for it. He is 45 years old. He is actually younger than me.
Wow.
His birthday is in November, so he's about to be 46 years old in November.
Why do they have him sit? Why do they have them sitting? I don't understand. Are these like tiny chairs for like tiny people?
I don't know.
Like, why do they look so large in these chairs?
This was in September of 2025, the beginning. So it was CrimeCon was September 5th to September 7th of 2025 in Denver. Yeah, he's like 2 months younger than me. That's interesting. But speaking of birthdays, I do want to give, I want to say something really quick for tomorrow is actually Robert Kyle Fortson's birthday. So just like a shout out and prayer to his family as they are enduring another year without him.
It's awful. And preventable.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody should feel like, well, maybe several somebody should feel like a real piece of shit. I don't know. Maybe
They talk about
right here.
I don't
On
know.
stage.
Yeah.
Reality versus Hollywood, and they explain everything that Nick just said.
Who's in it? You can introduce the stars.
Yeah, it's great. So,
Who's in it, she said.
what's that?
Who's the
Bro, he's so fucking lost. What a big dummy, Biff.
He's like, what? What is that? Did you ask me a question? Hold on. I was sharding for Doug Carter to walk on.
star? If you could stand up.
Who's the,
Nick's like, she asked you a question, you stupid fucker. Wait a minute.
who is it?
Yeah.
I can't say who it is.
Well,
You have
The
no
detectives.
clue. You literally plugged the podcast and you have no clue who it is.
You don't even know who it is.
He's like, this is a great podcast. Oh, who's in it? Oh, I don't know. They're probably literally there. Like, how rude. What, did you meet them right before you got on stage?
He probably did. It's Dave and Steve.
Watch this stupid ass interaction. Watch this.
Steve. Great. So, Nick just said.
who's in it? You can introduce the stars.
Yeah, it's great. So,
Who's in
Yeah,
it,
it's
she said.
great.
what's that?
Who's the star? If you could stand up.
Who's this? Who is it?
Yeah.
I can't say who it is.
Well,
It's the detectives, Steve and Dave.
yeah,
The
Steve and
detectives.
Dave.
So then why did he say I can't
What
say
the
who it
fuck?
is?
What's that?
If he knew their names, why did he say he couldn't say who it is? Or did they stand up and they have big ass name tags on?
Probably. That was so
Steve and
bad.
Dave.
Steve.
Look at dumbass's face. He's like, this is embarrassing for me.
Let's give him the Crime Fighter of the Year award.
He's like, Nick's
Can't
like,
even figure out he was on
stars.
the fucking podcast.
Nick's like, who's the star? I thought we were the stars. This is awkward.
We're stars.
Nick, close your legs. Or wear a dark colored suit.
You can, whatever. I don't listen to podcasts, but I did
So then how did
listen to theirs.
oh yeah, you don't listen to Murder Sheet? Come the fuck on.
Lies. All lies.
Were these people there? Because I bet they were fucking pissed when he said that.
After everything we've done for you, Jerry. How dare you not plug us in our new book? And that's why he was like, afterward, he's like, fuck, give me the book. I'll hold it up and take a picture with you. Fuck.
Yeah. Plebin looks really disappointed. Not angry, just disappointed in you, Jerry.
Probably get booed off the stage here now, but I did listen to some of theirs. It's pretty good. So, but yeah, they do a good job of explaining exactly what Nick did. Nick does a great job of explaining things too. He's pretty much made me a apprentice attorney, I think.
Stop it right now.
He's also an apprentice FBI agent.
I wish I could do that voice my kid does and be like, stop it. However he does it, you know what I mean?
Stop it.
It's so good.
Stop it right now.
Well, I was going to mention the relationship the two of you have. You could tell you're very close. And I know that you said he was so
We know what that means, Susan.
He's seen my
prepared
ball.
and giving you tips. And
But not close enough for Jerry to tell him that his pants are too tight.
Jerry likes him like that.
they were talking about yesterday how Jerry would turn on the stand or move
Yeah.
in your chair.
There's a couple people reminded me of that. Good thing these don't swivel, but Nick and I do have a great relationship, but I do have to.
Did I miss something?
No, they're just talking about how great their relationship is.
What are we talking about turning in the chairs? He's
Like he
seen the clip.
swivels in his chair constantly, and Nick was telling him that he swivels all the time,
Oh, so they gave them these non-swivelly chairs.
so that Jerry had to sit fucking still.
Clear the air. I have never kissed Nick McClellan.
Oh! Why did you have to say that, Jerry?
Who are you
What?
clearing that up for?
Why did you even have to bring that up? Like, why do you think that people are even saying that?
Wait. Okay. Wait.
There's good thing these don't swivel, but Nick and I do have a great relationship, but I do have to clear the air. I have never kissed Nick McClellan. There's
Was that a rumor?
There was media saying, I don't know.
What?
What?
Who was saying that, Jerry? Nobody was saying that, Jerry. Did you all sleep? I wonder if they had the same hotel room. What is wrong with you, Jerry? Leakage. It's leakage again. I agree.
What?
I bet you he did kiss him.
Kaleido's like, I said it.
He looks like he knows.
Do you think that Jerry's the little spoon or the big spoon?
Little.
I think he's the little spoon too.
I think he's the little and the bottom.
He's definitely a bottom. Without a doubt, he's a bottom.
Who said it, but
I don't know who said it. Maybe it was the little cricket in my mind, the little devil on my shoulder.
the truth is, I
When the verdict came down?
Yes.
I said, Nick, I'm so happy after the verdict came out. I'm so happy I could kiss you. And he said, don't. And no.
We only do that in private.
Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face. Come here, Nicky. Come here, Nick. I'm ready. I'm ready.
No tongue, so it doesn't count.
No means no. So
Yeah.
I gave him a hug
No means no.
and we moved on.
That's right. Jerry and I are very close. When you're forced to be in a room together for several hours on end, it's just we became more brothers, and we would talk to each other like brothers. And so he's right. The first time he was on the stand, our chair in our courtroom, the witness chair, it's a very old courtroom. It's very beautiful, but it's very old, and the furniture in it is probably just as old as the courtroom. But the chair swivels and it kind of rocks. And he did fine for about the first 10 minutes of me questioning him, and then he started to kind of swivel like this. And by the time the defense got to him, I mean, it was distracting. And so we had a little chat after his first time testifying. I said,
In every trial, there's highs and lows, and one day may feel like a win, and one day may feel like a loss.
sure.
Did you feel?
Susan's like, we've really got off the rails here, sir. No, we
It's
don't
like,
believe
yeah,
these
I
liars.
don't care about his swiveling, and I don't care about you kissing. Now I think they did kiss, right, Scott? Like I was just joking, and now I'm like, now I need to know.
It went on for too long. There was too much of an explanation. No, just butt brothers.
Yeah, she just was like, okay,
They
we're
do
done
love
with
talking about themselves. They're here to talk about Libby and Abby's case and the conviction of Richard Allen, and they're talking about this.
This is way more important to them because it's real.
Yeah, I'm
They
pretty
don't
sure
have to
they
make
have
up
it.
shit on the fly. They'd just be like, yeah, we made out, and that's how it is.
This is
The R&M said, I'm pretty sure they kissed.
Well, she would know.
That during the trial?
You always feel lulls.
Yeah.
Again, this is the longest trial I've ever done. I've done a 2-week trial. I've done a 2.5-week trial. This is the first one I've done that was a month. And
Was this or was this not his first murder trial?
I want to say yes, it was, but I think that he was on another case throughout this that had something. We looked at this before, but I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure this was his first murder case he tried. I think he had a plea deal.
Oh God. Yep.
And this is the first one I've done with the amount of evidence that there was to present to the jury. And there's just lulls in that. And one of the biggest hurdles we had to come up with as a team between Stacey Diener, James Luttrell, and I is the order of witnesses and how are we going to keep the jury, how are we going to keep their attention and engaged in the evidence? Because when you get to DNA evidence, ballistic evidence, a lot of it is scientific.
Why'd you even bother putting DNA stuff on when you didn't have the defendant's DNA there?
Nope.
material, and a lot of it is kind of dry. And you have to educate the
Dry
jury.
AF.
This is what we're talking about, and then explain the evidence we have. And so there are lulls in there in the trial. For me personally, I'm always going through the trial and saying, okay, did that hit the jury as hard as it hit me when I read that piece of evidence? Did that influence them as much as it influenced me? There was a lot of talk about the
What?
How are we going to keep the jury fooled? How are we going to keep them buying what we're selling?
first interview with the defendant and when his wife was brought in, the second interview when his wife was brought in, and the reaction that she had to him, that hit me different than it hit other people. And so you're always wondering.
Yeah, because it was fucking trash and it meant really nothing. But it had to mean something to you, obviously.
How does this evidence affect the jury, and what are they thinking?
I know you never really know exactly their thoughts, but I thought, which was so interesting and I thought so helpful, was that they were able to ask questions. So did you feel like that kind of gave you an indication?
Yeah, that's a benefit we have in Indiana. I'm not familiar with other states, whether they allow that or not, but in Indiana, we allow the jurors to ask questions. So after each witness.
You don't have any clue if any other state allows jurors to ask questions, sir?
The jury can ask questions, and then those questions, they're put in writing, they're given to the judge. The judge will have a sidebar with the attorneys and say, okay, do you object or consent to these questions? If an attorney objects, then we have argument outside the presence of the jury. If not, the judge will ask the questions of the witness, and the witness will answer. In Indiana, it's a good gauge for me to say, okay, what are the jury focusing on? What are they, or where did we maybe not hit the mark? If they have questions about like the ballistics and the striations, if they have questions about that, okay, maybe we need to go a little bit more into that. After the juror questions are asked, the defense and the state then have additional opportunity to ask the witness questions, so you can follow up on the juror questions. I think it does a couple of things. I think it shows the juror that you're listening to what they're asking, and allows you to react to that, but it also allows you to clean up something you may have missed. So the juror questions to me are hugely important.
That's an excellent point. And I think when a trial
We know all this. This is boring. We know all this.
Is long and it drags on, some people can forget what it really is about, which was.
He just tickled his balls. I watched him do it.
Abby and Libby. I know last night we went through kind of your preparation for the trial and the slides, and you do, if they could show the last picture of Abby and Libby, that there it is on Snapchat.
Not the very last picture, but this is a picture of Abby and Libby on the way to the trails, and it's got some kind of key points on there. It's February 13th of 2017. We were able to get this from Libby's phone, and she posted this to Snapchat. The phone is really.
Let's see, what's this say? On the way to the trails. Posted a picture to Snapchat. Abby in her maroon top and sweatshirt, and Libby in her tie-dye shirt. Girls arrive at the trials around 1:48 p.m. Girls were supposed to picked up by Libby's dad around 3:30 p.m.
Really a big piece of evidence. It was able, like I said, to give us those GPS markers and those kind of things. And we talk about this is where I don't have a laser pointer, but the bridge is actually in the lower right-hand corner of this map. And it's.
I asked you, why didn't you want the jurors to go there? And you brought up a great point of you didn't know about the terrain in terms of their safety.
The terrain's pretty treacherous where that's at. I was worried about someone tampering with the jury on the way there, on the way back.
I was really worried that the jury was going to see the multiple issues we had here, such as there's no fucking way that nobody heard these girls down here yelling and no kind of commotion going on. There's no way nobody didn't see them. There's no way they went down one hill, crossed the creek, and did all this shit. You just didn't want to see them. There's no way that we didn't find them. You didn't want them to see it. If Karen Reed's jurors can go to 34 Fairview, I think you guys could have escorted them down there the way to where it would have been safely done. They have to make everything more dangerous than it actually is. You know what? This feels very Lauren Matthias.
Did they show a photo of the girls? Sorry,
Yeah,
I had to run to the restroom.
The Snapchat picture from inside the car.
Which one, though?
The one where the one where Libby's actually smiling.
Back or why
You want
which is actually evidence.
That's
It was
not-
able, like I said, to give us those GPS markers.
That's not the one that's been out there.
This is one of the two.
Right, but this isn't the one that's been out in the public.
I thought all of them were out.
Nope.
I
thought only one was out. Somebody in chat tell me if maybe I'm just. I thought the one with her serious face was out, and I was like, there's other photos that we haven't seen, and if they are, of them smiling, then this face doesn't mean anything because kids just make, funny faces. Like, I think this is a different picture. I think we've heard about this picture, but I don't think it's been out there. What did Travis say? It's not fucking about Abby and Libby. Sorry. Problem with true crime creators, including the big ones, Vinny P. They fall into this party line. It's justice for fill in blank. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, this is really very much about Nick and Jerry.
Yeah, this is how they get their award.
I don't know that I've ever seen two people so undeserving. Let me get past to where he's talking about.
You didn't know about the terrain in terms of their
The
safety.
terrain's pretty treacherous where that's at.
Treacherous.
Know about the terrain in terms of their
The
safety.
terrain's pretty treacherous
It's pretty treacherous.
where that's at. I was worried about someone tampering with the jury on the way there, on the way back, or while they were out there. I just didn't think the benefits of having them visit the scene outweighed the risks. And so I objected to it. I didn't think it was a good idea. And so the jurors didn't go out there. We had enough pictures of the area and of the crime scene that I thought we could do just as good a job by showing the pictures and the things that we had. But this is a map we used that kind of showed the overall trail system. And again, I don't have a pointer and it's hard to see, but you can see the bridges within the wooded area, and it's just a very rural area. And so
I thought that you were able to show that through the pictures since it was, the jurors were not from Delphi. It was, but they were brought in, so the trial
that was a hurdle we had to get over. The probable cause makes a lot more sense once you know the layout of the terrain and the area. And if you have
Okay, so again, like she just asked, why didn't you want them to know the area? They don't know the area. They don't live here. Why didn't you want them to go know the area?
Because we had enough pictures.
Why did you fucking wait? I could think of so many better questions. Like, why did you wait until 2025 or 2025? I think it was 2025. No, 2024. Why did you wait till 2024, right before when his trial was supposed to start, to go take drone footage?
Well, that's the crazy thing is that they have drone footage from before.
It's just weird. Everything they've done is calculated. Yes, he knows his hair is oily. He doesn't give a damn. He actually makes it that way.
I'm curious how many people were here at the beginning that have made it all the way to where we are now. If you guys have been here since the beginning, put that in chat. Because I think there's a lot of people that had to fucking bounce. They couldn't do it.
Put one in chat so we can actually, because I'm not going to read words. And don't do any capital things.
jurors from Delphi, you can tell anybody in Carroll County the High Bridge, and they're going to know where it's at, the terrain, the landscape. They're going to know all of that because it's something that everybody in our county knows. We had to explain that to people who had never been to Carroll County before. And so it was a hurdle in itself just to explain to them this is where this happened, and
you didn't have to.
This is a remote area and it's in the middle of the woods.
Right.
That was a hurdle in
But
itself.
there's
No, it wasn't. You could have literally bypassed an entire hurdle.
Yeah. But then it wouldn't sound as good as saying we overcame this hurdle.
Right.
Not good cell phone reception and all these kind of things. We had to educate them about that as well.
And Jerry, it took almost 6 years. Were there times that you thought, oh my gosh, could this go unsolved? Were there moments?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, the day we were down there at the bottom of the hill, the very first day, my mindset was we're going to solve this by the end of the week, because that's, I mean, we do that a lot. But then after week 2 and
Do you?
Oh, we do that a lot. We solve it by the end of the week.
Oops, wrong one.
6 months. The first day, my mindset was
Watch how tickled he is. Watch.
we're going to solve this by the end of the week because we do that a lot.
We do that a lot.
Yeah, we solve this shit right off the bat. Like, we'll get
We
this
do
by
that
the
a
end
lot.
of the week.
I wonder what I guess ISP it would be like. I do wonder what their solve rate is.
I wonder if we should be able to find it.
I'm gonna look.
But then after week 2 and 6 months and then a year and then 3 years, but the mindset was we're not going to give up. We're not going to quit on Abby and Libby and their families. And we had to sacrifice a lot. We went through COVID. We went through a lot of things,
To be clear, continuing to try to solve it was like actually your fucking job. You shouldn't have just like wanted to do your job for Abby and Libby's families. Like you should have wanted to do your job because that's your fucking job.
tragic events happened within our departments. We had 2 Carroll County deputies die on the line of duty. We had a state trooper die on the line of duty. We had, all of us had to put that aside and continue to focus on it. So, it goes through your mind, but our mindset was we're not going to give up. It's not a cold case because we kept getting information. And thanks to the family for coming to CrimeCon and going to festivals and continuing to put the story out there, we were able to continue getting information, leads.
Okay, so I Cecil'd it, and it says overall Indiana clearance rate as of April of 2023 showed that the murder clearance rate was 58%, which was cited as one of the worst in the nation.
I'm dead.
That's literally what Google says.
Deceased. Wow. So another lie, but nobody's sitting there fact checking, are they?
That's the Indiana State Police. But if you just do Indiana, like just the state of Indiana with all agencies, it was a 40. Hold on, let me go back to that. It was 43% statewide.
So the Indiana State Police have a better rate, and it's still like one of the worst in the nation.
And it was cited as one of the worst in the nation as of 2023.
All right, let's listen to what he said again.
To follow up, family, it's not a cold case.
Remember
We had us within our department through. Yeah, but that.
Could this go on almost
And all these kind of
their comments?
Oh, absolutely. The day we were down there at the bottom of the hill, the very first day, my mindset was we're going to solve this by the end of the week because we do that a lot.
Where?
He doesn't. He probably thinks it's true. He has no fucking idea.
He's probably like. He probably thinks like. It might be 58% or whatever throughout, or 50, whatever it might be. It might be 50% throughout all of Indiana, but I've solved about 96% of my cases, so that's what matters.
DB, such a great point. He makes it sound like he thinks this is CSI.
Mm-hmm.
But then after week 2 and 6 months, and then a year, and then 3 years, but the mindset was we're not going to give up. We're not going to.
Carrie said, "Do they trash talk?"
I was responding to her in chat right now.
Okay, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Abby and Libby and their
So
families.
we're reacting with you.
We didn't watch the whole thing. At the beginning, they said the defense was like lying, but it wasn't like I wouldn't consider it trash talking them. Not like we've seen them do before.
Right.
And we had to sacrifice a lot.
They still haven't figured out who murdered the 4 little black girls, did they?
Nope.
In Flora?
Nope.
Went through COVID. We went through a lot of things. A lot of tragic events happened within our departments. We had 2 Carroll County deputies die on the line of duty. We had a state trooper die on the line of duty. We had, all of us had to.
Can you tell me what that's got to do with working on the case? Were they people that were working on this case other than Ferenczi? I mean, he's acting like 3 of them. I mean, I hate that they died. That's terrible. But like, he's acting like 3 of them affected how well they were able to do the case.
Right.
To put that aside and continue to focus on it. So, I mean, yeah, it goes through your mind, but
like, if anything, during COVID is when you all should have found that tip, because nobody could have really, like, we were all socially distancing and shit. Like, you should have found it when everything died down, nothing was open.
our mindset was we're not going to give up. It's not a cold case because we kept getting information. And thanks to the family for coming to CrimeCon and going to festivals and continuing to put the story out there, we were able to continue.
What festivals? Can you tell me what festivals he means?
I'll look.
Like music festivals? That makes no sense. What festivals? Is he high? Does he think this is a fucking game?
You're getting information, good, leads to follow up on. But yeah, it definitely goes through your mind, but we don't quit.
And soon I'll open it up to questions, but I get this question the most. If you could clear.
So Indiana State Police Trooper Aaron Smith was honored at a festival in 2024.
Okay.
The state police profiled festival goers last year in large cities.
I need some ibuprofen.
They patrolled some downtown festivals.
Oh, God.
There was an aggressive police presence at the Electric Festival.
Oh, you know what I saw recently? A bunch of like really racist people with like their face covered and Nazi flags and stuff walking around Indianapolis. Have you seen that?
No.
I thought I posted videos. I wonder if he thinks that's a festival.
Oh, that might be a festival for Jerry.
Yeah.
What did I Google to find that? Indiana State Police attend festival.
Clear up the tip that Dan Doolin got.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Just a tip. Let's rewind. I didn't know Susan was going there.
And what happens, but
we don't quit.
And soon I'll open it up to questions, but I get this question the most. If you could clear up the tip that Dan Doolin.
Clear the tip.
Yeah, Donut Fest. Num, 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 num.
God, and what happened with that?
Well,
He's like, I need a drink.
Bro, he's so
He was
uncomfortable.
totally reaching for his vodka right there, and he's all, fuck, I don't have a drink.
Oh my God, the awkward repositioning. Tell me about the tip. Well, which one? I feel like he could better answer about the one that's trapping that tie than he could the one that supposedly Kathy found.
Dan Doolin took the tip. I think it was on February 18th or maybe 19th of 2017. 17th. Okay.
Why don't you know this? You should know this.
Took a tip. He didn't take the tip.
And it was.
He didn't take the tip.
He followed up on the tip.
Unless he took the tip and it's a different tip.
Nick still doesn't want to tell us who's the tip taker.
No, I'm just saying, like, maybe he took the tip.
And the tip clearer.
If there was just a tip, maybe he took the tip.
Processed, and somewhere along the line, nobody knows who, somebody wrote lead cleared on the tip.
Nobody knows who.
Mm-hmm.
It was filed under Richard Allen Whiteman, but that really doesn't matter. The name it was filed under doesn't matter, right? It's just in a different drawer within the drawers. The real problem is some
within the desks, within the boxes, within the different buildings. On a different day and a different time.
Different dates and different times and different tips.
But he wrote on it, lead cleared. Don't know who wrote that, don't know when it happened, but then it got tucked away in the cleared leads section. And in sometime, I think in
I thought the FBI came and helped you guys get a whole new like computer system to log these tips. Why was it lost?
Yeah, and it's actually in Orion. I hate that this whole filing bullshit had anything to do with that. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. He was tip number 74 in Orion, in the database that they used.
2021, we decided as a team, okay, we need to go back to the beginning. Let's recheck everything, because we all believed it was somebody local or somebody that visited Carroll County often. And so we always thought that we probably have interviewed the person already.
What?
Yeah, they say that.
Oh, yeah.
And we just missed something. And so we decided to go all the way back to the beginning, and Kathy Shank was heavily involved in that. And we did that. We went back to the beginning and looked at every tip again. And when we got to that tip, she said, look, I'm familiar with Kathy Shank. I'm familiar with this case enough that I know we haven't followed up with this guy. And he puts himself.
How did she know that if she wasn't
follow up with him?
How would she know what we did and didn't follow up on, and she wasn't even supposed to be reading these things, just filing them away?
Not to mention, she wasn't even around at the beginning, so she has no idea if it was followed up on. And somebody wrote that it was cleared on this piece of paper, but it was in the Orion system. It's tip number 74. Carter had said multiple times prior to 2021 that they had already gone back multiple times to the beginning and started checking tips. So that would only be, even if you went tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, you're only at the 74th one. So I'm not sure how she could say, like, nobody's ever followed up with this guy. This is the narrative that they're trying to sell now, is like, Dan Doolin took the tip. One, no, he didn't. Dan Doolin is actually the one who followed up on the tip, and then somebody cleared him. Cleared Richard Allen.
Why would a bird need a jacket? Why would TikTok, or why would Twitter be showing me a parrot's diaper changing?
Because it knows how much you love birds.
That's what I'm saying. Is this meant to further torment me?
Now, why do they consider it a tip? Hold on, where did that comment go? Why do they consider it a tip when they asked people at the bridge to call in and Allen called it himself? That's not a tip to me. Right. Correct. It's not a tip. It's a witness statement, like, hey, I was there at this time, such and such, and yeah, that's it.
Just like the rest of the people that called and said that they were there.
Phone info sent to ISP.
Now, if someone else had called and said, we saw him there, and they were like, why didn't he tell us he was there? Then I would consider that a tip. Make a prick. Oh, it looks like our algorithms are all syncing up. Right, Nicole. Why is he a suspect, but everyone else is a witness? Because they ran out of time. And Ron died. And the sheriff's election was coming up. And people were getting fed up. I'm sure the families were getting fucking fed up. And here we are. They had to put him in prison. Because they knew they didn't have enough evidence. So just like Jerry said in his deposition, they basically put him in prison so he'd have some time to think about it. And decide if he wanted to say something about what he did. Which is almost an admission that they coerced him, to me, in my opinion.
On the bridge at the time the girls went missing. We got to talk to this guy. And that's kind of what got the ball rolling.
And for those who don't know, Kathy Shank was going through the files. I believe you were moving from one building to another.
We had moved several times just because of space allocation. We were at the city building. They did some remodeling. We moved to another building. And then we finally moved to our last location. And in the process, stuff had just been thrown in boxes, some of stuff.
Yeah.
And she would go through and organize those boxes when she had time. And that's what she was doing. She was going through these various files. organizing them, verifying them, making sure we had followed up on them, and then she found that tip sheet.
Yeah, saying, wait a minute, this
She
is...
did that on multiple people. She would bring
Sure.
us tips, and we'd go back, and sometimes we had found that maybe we didn't get the report up there and copied, or maybe some people didn't do reports, so we'd go back and re-interview people.
Yeah.
She did that all the time for years.
Yeah.
And then, so it's important. Everybody's like, oh, lost tip. It wasn't lost. It was there. It was just mislabeled.
And going back to the trial, did you think he would take the stand, Richard Allen?
I was a defense attorney for a long time before I was a prosecutor. It's always a difficult decision to decide whether or not to have your client testify.
Were you ready if you did?
Absolutely. I mean, I had expected that he might, and so the last thing you want to do is not prepare and go in there and then he testifies. So I was prepared. I had a list of questions I was going to ask him. They were tough questions. They were going to be tough questions. He was going to have to explain to the jury some of these things that we had found, but he decided not to take the stand, and that's his absolute right. Every defendant has a Fifth Amendment right not to take the stand, and he decided not to, and that was his decision.
And for most of your trials, what is the relationship between the prosecutor and defense attorneys, and is this vastly different?
So I am a prosecutor in a very small county. It's only me and a chief deputy prosecutor, and there's only 2 prosecutors in the county that prosecute all the criminal cases that come through that county. We also have a finite set of defense attorneys. I think right now there's maybe 4 or 5 defense attorneys in the county, and you deal with those defense attorneys on a daily, Monday through Friday daily basis, and you deal with them on several cases. And so it's not advantageous to be confrontational with each other every day because you have so many cases to work through. If you did that, you wouldn't get anything done. And so there's a mutual respect between defense attorneys and prosecutors in the small communities. I can't comment on the bigger cities like Denver or Indianapolis or those kind of bigger cities, so I don't really know about that. But in our small community, when you have to work with somebody every day, it's just not a good thing to be at each other's throat all the time. This was vastly different. This was confrontational from the very first hearing after we had a meeting in judges' chambers, and the defense went out and talked to the press after they said they weren't going to. And so from that point on, it just became vastly different, and it became confrontational. Everybody that's followed the case has seen it within the motions, both filed by me and by the defense, and the responses to the defense motions that I filed. I would try to stay above the fray, but it's difficult sometimes not to get a little bit chippy when the defense is accusing you and your team of being evil and corrupt and all these kind of things, when you know it's not true. And so this was a new experience that I had had. I'd been confrontational with attorneys, and I fully expect a defense attorney to be confrontational with me in the courtroom, to zealously advocate for their client. I expect that. If you didn't do that, I would have questions. And so I expect that, but I expect it to be professional, and I expect it to stop once we get to the courtroom door and leave. And it just didn't happen that way here. It just became kind of mudslinging, and it was just something I had never experienced with any other case, on the defense or the prosecution side.
Absolutely, I saw it. And Jerry, you followed the gag order. That was important to the investigation. And
oh, you fucking lies. This is all fucking lies. Followed the gag order. Let's get Jerry Holman to take a polygraph on how often he communicated with Kevin and Anya.
Also, why is he making it out like, yes, exactly this. Like, why is he making it out like it was preposterous and so out of the norm and so offensive, like, to the criminal justice system, that the defense confronted them about what they were doing to him? Doing a Rick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes the defense confrontational because they didn't just bow down and allow Nick to do whatever he wanted to do with Jerry and to get Rick to confess.
Right. And not turning shit over. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then lying about who they could talk to and who they couldn't talk to, or who they had talked to and who they hadn't talked to.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are naming all of them. Nick and Fig, Nick and Frank Meister, not Nick, Jerry and Frank Meister. I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of conversations that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
Gag order.
And she said he followed it really well. And what's even worse about that is she probably was given information from him in violation of the gag order. But she's going to sit up here and pretend like he didn't.
And Superintendent Carter mentioned that after the sentencing, saying, we followed the gag order, they did not. What were your thoughts?
They don't even fucking understand what the gag order is.
Chick? Wasn't it Holman who had the chick that he went and drove around in the car with her?
Yeah, but was the ride along after the after Rick's arrest? After the gag order?
I don't remember. I don't think it was a ride along. I think it was a blowjob, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, these dummies think that putting stuff in a court filing is a violation of the gag order.
Right.
So,
as Nick literally puts crime scene photos in his responses. Sealed crime scene photos. Okay, go ahead.
On the, I believe it was kind of disguised as a Frank's memo, but I think it was breaking the gag order with the odious theory. That was still investigated.
Look at this. Look at him looking at Jerry right now.
I feel like it's Nick's obligation right now to say writing out things in legal pleadings is not a violation of a gag order.
And why is she saying this instead of asking the question? That's as the interviewer, why is she stating these as fact when she's not in law enforcement and not an attorney and actually has no idea what is or isn't violating a gag order?
Because Jerry said, make sure you ask me about the defense violating the gag order.
But it's almost like they don't want to be the one that says it. So instead she's saying it.
Well, Nick
you see what I mean?
wrong.
Like, she's stating it as fact, so they can only comment on what she stated as fact versus them calling out the defense. Do you see it? Like, otherwise, it would just be a question. Do you, as an attorney or as an investigator, believe that the gag order was violated by the defense attorneys?
Right. I just, you lose all credibility with me when you can't even understand what a gag order covers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Investigated by you both.
Yeah. I mean, apparently the defense attorneys can say whatever they want, and we're not supposed to retaliate, but
Why would you retaliate? Not respond. Retaliate.
Wow.
Wow. More leakage.
Wow. They can say whatever they want, and we're not supposed to retaliate.
They retaliated 100%.
Talk about leakage.
Yep.
yeah, we investigated the ritualistic killing theory. All the people that the defense team wrongfully accused, we thoroughly investigated them. We had a 3-day hearing where they
You're a fucking liar. You literally admitted that Patrick Westfall would not cooperate, and you did nothing to follow up. Nothing.
Yep.
to say we want to use this third party defense, and they couldn't even put half the people they wrongfully accused in Delphi, and we tried. I mean, we followed up on.
You didn't even know that Patrick Westfall fucking lived in Delphi.
So does that mean that they did put the other half in Delphi?
Yeah, yeah, they couldn't put half of them there, but the other half they could.
Okay.
On every tip, very thoroughly documented it. Sometimes we go back a couple years.
This right here is exactly
right. 1,000,000%.
He gave themselves away. And then when that, so their retaliation was the leaking of the crime scene photos to get the defense kicked off.
100%.
That was how they could retaliate.
because they retaliated. And this goes back to exactly what Nick said at the beginning of this, where he said the public was saying things and we needed to figure out how we could fix it. So they start talking to these podcasters and creating their own narrative to put out so that the public only sees, you know, the sugar-coated candy of, just like they're trying to sell at CrimeCon right now. And then you have anybody who's in their quote-unquote opposition, they want to retaliate against, and they have. That's the scary fucking part, is they have. This man has swatted people for being the opposition to Richard Allen being innocent or guilty.
Wow. Because it doesn't just apply to the defense. He's saying we can't just let people say whatever they want to and not retaliate. He means everybody.
If we can't get you on our side, it's a retaliation.
Yep. What a jackass. They probably should have, like, I don't know.
I can't believe he fucking said retaliate.
I'm sure it was just the wrong word.
Yeah, right. Respond.
Later, and
He was just nervous, even though this is like his 30th time being at CrimeCon, speaking on the stage.
He's just focusing on not making Odin symbols with his hands.
Yeah.
re-interview people.
Or look at Nick's crotch.
Yeah.
And there was just no evidence indicating that. And the whole blood on the tree, everybody's like, oh, somebody intentionally put that. No, our crime scene investigators told us it was blood transfer the first day.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And we can go and pull up your deposition from August 10th of 2023, where you literally say that there are multiple people who believe that it was an F on the tree, which is long before there was ever a Frank's memo. You fat fuck.
It was not smear or anything like that. There's some blood spatter on the lower part of the tree, which they don't talk about that. But, you know, we
you know what you don't talk about? How about the sticks that are on the fucking blood puddle that are shaped exactly like the sticks that are on Abby? You don't talk about that.
Can you explain to me what he just did with his hands?
He's really trying to not make Odin symbols, because that's
no. Like, listen to what he was talking about and look at what he does, like, with his hand. Like, hold on.
The blood not smear or anything like that. There's some blood spatter on the lower part of the tree, which they don't talk about that. But, you know, we, past Cicero, the blood spatter.
Oh, is he trying to mimic, like, what they're saying that she did to her neck?
Probably. He's probably putting his hand up like how she would have touched her neck and then put her hand on the tree.
Their expert took his own blood and did experiments, and it was the back of Libby's hand that she was trying to stop the bleeding from her neck, fell into the tree, and that caused that upside down L. But the tent on the tree and all that, so people jumped on that and was like, no, that's not true. And the sticks were laid on the left side of the girls. Well, what's on the left side? The driveway to Weber's house.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to hide them.
Can't see it. Nope. Lies. Can't see anything from Weber's driveway. You're a fucking liar again. Don't put
and it was clear to us.
I said sugar-coated candies. Sorry, Candy.
So he's saying that that the person put the tree or the branches on the side where they thought the girls could be seen from Weber's property, but not on the side of them that would be seen from, like, the trail or the road or the water.
No.
Okay.
Just Weber's driveway. Because here's the thing. Let's think this through really quick. The perpetrator gets scared because Brad Weber's driving by on the private driveway with his van, and he then purposely leads the girls across the creek, up the hill, into a spot that can also still be seen by Weber's driveway, kills them while one is standing up and walking around still, according to the state, and can still be seen by Weber's driveway. And then we as they die, we put sticks on them on the left side, so now they can no longer be seen by Weber's driveway. But all of this is all happening because of somebody on Weber's driveway that can see where he was underneath the bridge area or down by Weber's beach, and could also see directly across to the crime scene in where they need to be hid by sticks. But I'm going to kill them right out in the open where I can be seen by Weber's driveway. You understand? Like that? Does that make any sense?
Indicate.
I want to hide them from Weber's driveway, but I'm going to kill them where they can be seen by Weber's driveway.
Makes sense to Gerald.
That it was not, but we reached out to professors, we reached out to other people, we had multiple investigators look into it, and there was just no evidence proving that was a theory.
Hearing him on the phone with his wife and mother was so, I thought, to hear that. He did not sound like he was out of sound mind. I do want to allow time for...
What would that sound like to Susan?
questions, but when you bring up Libby, that was for the families to be there every single day. Hear that stuff?
Bro, what? What did any of those things she just said have to do with each other?
No, that's
hold on. Maybe I'm being stupid. Hold on.
But I thought the sticks from the professionals at the BAU and the marshal's office said it was an undoing. And the reason the sticks were placed was because it was an undoing, and the person placed them there because they wanted to undo what they had done.
Oh, but now at CrimeCon, it's that they were trying to hide the girls from Weber's driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now listen to her and please help me understand what the pieces of the sentence mean.
Him on the phone with his wife and mother.
That was a theory.
Hearing him on the phone with his wife and mother was so, I thought, to hear that. He did not sound like he was out of sound mind. I do want to allow time for questions, but when you bring up Libby, that was for the families to be there every single day. Hear that stuff?
So once again, she needs to make a statement, and she needs to make sure she fits in the fact that he sounded like he was in his right mind, but she does a double negative in there instead.
You're right.
So she purposely says that without any commentary from them, and then leads into, I also want to make, absolutely, Amanda. She absolutely has talking points that they can't say. They can't say, but she can. So
wait, was the families there for this CrimeCon?
Yes, because there's a whole nother segment where Susan does the families.
Oh, see, I'm surprised they're not all on stage together per usual.
This is because these two are getting the award.
Oh, I can't imagine how many police officers are there, like, who actually deserved something like that. I would love to know which people were there that didn't get that award.
Steve and Dave.
Even Gerald seems to think that they might deserve it more.
If you could, Nick, end with what you did in your closing argument in terms of talking about Abby and Libby and how essentially what they did.
Sure.
They solved their own murders.
Oh, God. Is he going to do that? Is he going to do that?
He's going to say that they solved their own murders, and I guarantee you he's going to use the word wherewithal at least once. Okay?
I really enjoy doing closing statements. It's an opportunity to summarize the evidence.
It's an opening statement. It's supposed to be a closing argument, but okay.
That you've presented at trial. And in Indiana, the state.
Travis says, how can written words in a brief describing elements in the scene to show how case law applies to the facts of the case ever be a violation of a gag order?
Right. Right.
It isn't, which is why they didn't say it and they made her say it. Because they're like she's a puppet and they're the puppeteers and Nick is a master manipulator and all he's doing is like, okay, well, we want you to say this. And if you say this, then we'll just go, yeah, sounds right.
But Travis, don't you, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that would just be what I would feel like, and I would feel obligated to do it, but maybe it's not. But I feel like he should have some type of responsibility to correct that when it's said. Like, that's not necessary. It's not a violation of a gag order. We have to be able to write things in our pleadings. I feel like the rules of professional conduct and stuff should have made him have to correct that. But okay, so back to this. I made my, whatever you call it. He's going to say that they solved their own murders. And he's going to use the word wherewithal. Okay?
State of Indiana, we're going to make a closing statement. The defense then gets to make a closing statement. And then I get to do what they call a rebuttal statement. I don't know if they do that in other states. I don't
Answer the fucking question.
know if they do that here or not, but
I don't know what they do in any other states because I don't pay attention. I don't like to learn about anything else anybody else does.
that's the way it is in Indiana. And so the first closing statement I always use as a way to review all the evidence, and that became hugely important in this case because you're talking about evidence that we presented over a 3.5 week period. And so it was an opportunity for me to summarize what I think are the pillars of our case. That Richard Allen's bridge guy, that his bullets at the scene, and the confessions. Those were kind of the three pillars.
I thought it was bridge guy, bullet, brutal murders. He's adding the confessions now.
Pillars that we had of our case. And so it's an opportunity for me to emphasize the importance of those three pillars. Then the defense gets to make their closing, and then I get to talk to the jury one last.
What was the question? Wasn't the question about tell them what you said about Abby and Libby? I swear that was the question.
Time, and I wanted to make sure that last time I talked to the jury that the focus is taken off of Richard Allen and put back on the girls. It was important to me for the jury to remember we had talked a lot about him being confined in solitary confinement and how the defense said that was torture and that was bad, and the defense painted
It was bad and it was torture.
him as the victim. I wanted to make sure
He is the victim of you and Jerry Holman and the rest of you. There can be more than two victims.
that we refocused and made sure the jury knew that Abby and Libby were the victims, not Richard Allen.
You made Richard Allen a victim.
And I wanted to.
That's vile. And basically what it does is it encourages them to continue to treat people that way. So I guess we're just going to have to be in the situation just kind of like Lauren Matthias with her whole stuff going on. Her friends released and made multi-part podcast episodes about people's private text messages, private group chats that they were not a part of. And she didn't seem to think that there was anything wrong with that. But then when it was her ass on the line and her messages on the line, all of a sudden she feels threatened and her life depends on her getting a protective order, blah, 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 blah. So I guess we're here just at the segment of CrimeCon where as long as it's not happening to you as a defendant, then it's okay. You'll only care once it happens to you. But the cheers, in my opinion, encourage, based on how he smiled there when he heard the clapping and cheering, is that they'll continue to do this to other people. It's encouragement to continue doing what they're doing.
I know they were both interested in forensics and crime solving, and Nick said it so poignantly, saying
now they were both interested in forensics and crime solving. I thought that was just Libby.
They did solve their own crimes.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter that Nick didn't say it. Susan said it. I still win that one. I still don't have wherewithal, but she said they solved their own crime.
It was something that Becky had told us. I can't remember if it was in trial prep or just through talking with her, that Libby wanted to do something in the criminal justice world and wanted to help solve crimes for other people. And so that kind of struck me as, that's ironic that she is the one that helped solve her own crime. And so I thought it was important just to show the jury that that phone video and the evidence on the phone that Libby was able to collect and that
Was not good enough over the course of 5 years to identify a suspect.
Abby was able to hide that. If we didn't have that.
Oh, by the way, for anybody that didn't follow, this Abby also participated in solving the crime with Libby. That never was the rhetoric over the course of 7 years. It wasn't until trial that it was like all of a sudden, well, now we have to have both of them having solved both of their murders. So we're going to say that Abby hid Libby's phone under her body, knowing that if she didn't, that the perpetrator would take it and leave.
I'm not saying we would never solve the crime, but our starting point would be way further than what it was. With that video,
it literally didn't help you at all because you had video, you had audio, and you couldn't identify a suspect in 5 years.
we were able to have a place of where the crime occurred. We had what I like to call anchors in time. We knew the video was taken at 2:13. That's an anchor. We know the phone stopped moving at 2:32. Now we have anchors or bumpers within which the crime occurred. That is a huge leap. You're not looking at a 24-hour period. You're looking at a 14, 15, 35-minute period. It just narrows it down, and without that, our starting point would have been further away than we were at. So it's just a huge piece of evidence, and for them to be able to, Libby to take that video, I mean, imagine the fear that you have, a strange...
I think wherewithal is coming. I feel it.
Man is following your best friend across the bridge, and you can hear the fear in the voice in the video from Abby.
I could not hear fear.
To have the wherewithal to pull your phone out.
Whoa! Do I know him or do I know him? You'd think he'd get some new lines, man. And I don't just mean the ones he puts on a mirror.
And to hide it in a way that he doesn't immediately see it or see that you're videoing it. And then to put it in your pocket and then, you know, for it to be hidden by Abby, for us to be able to find it. It's huge.
Nick, tell us how it got from Libby's pocket to under Abby.
And it's time now for questions. If you want to come up to the mic and just say your name and ask the question.
How softball do we think these are going to be? Is it going to be more ball sucking, or is anybody going to ask real questions? Like, it would be great if somebody said, I don't know, Richard Allen said that he saw 3 girls, and the girls that were there and saw Bridge Guy, that was a group of 4. And also, like, why didn't any of the witnesses that testified to having seen Bridge Guy that day, why didn't any of them say that Richard Allen, the defendant, was who they saw? Why didn't you ask them if they saw Richard Allen?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm over here. Thank
Bro, look at this clusterfuck. Hold on.
you.
Questions, if you want to come up to the mic and just say your name and ask the question.
Hi, thank you.
Jerry and Nick are looking at who the fuck knows who. While someone is speaking, asking a question, look at Susan looking the opposite direction. Who the fuck are they looking at?
So much. I'm over here.
Oh, and here's like, didn't realize that. And then Nick, the third and final slowest one here.
Thank you so much.
Who are you looking at, you dumb motherfucker?
Thank you for everything you sacrificed and for being really class acts throughout the entire process that we all watched you go through.
Thank you.
Where?
I remember at one point prior to trial, during maybe some pre-trial hearings, that there was discussion about a lot of video and audio that went was either overwritten in the beginning of the.
Bro, why does this voice sound so familiar? Am I the only one that thinks this voice sounds familiar?
Investigation. Can you shed light on that, and how did you handle that?
I can talk about it real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead.
So yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but we make mistakes all the time, and we do our best to correct.
Excuse me, what is happening? Is this me? What is this? Is this part of the recording?
Those mistakes. So what we did was we went back, tried to identify which.
Can you still hear it?
Videos were overwritten, and if there was a written report that memorialized the interview and we were good with that, then we took that and used that. If not, we would try to track them down and re-interview them, and we did that with a majority of the people that and some of them were just the audio didn't work, the video worked, but we did our best to correct that mistake. And we do that all the time. Like I said, we make mistakes all the time, but we go back.
Well, I don't think I make mistakes all the time. I don't want to go down that road, but
I do.
I think this happened in 2017.
Nick could not have him admit
that there were actual mistakes.
That they make mistakes all the time. Also, like, it's funny because do we remember that when we found out that there was deleted interviews and stuff, that originally they had no list of who was interviewed, so they really couldn't go back and figure it out?
Yeah, but at trial, Mullen said, "Oh yeah, there's a list," and Baldwin's like, "Well, there is.
Where's this list?
Where is it?
Yep.
Where is it?"
Nick's like, "Holy shit, you dumb fat fucker! Stop telling them we make mistakes. They're going to think this is a mistake."
So that screen is in the video. It's the person who was recording it flipped their phone when they were recording it.
Yeah,
like on screen record. Okay.
I thought because I clicked somewhere at the same time that happened, and I thought it was me.
So I wasn't the prosecutor then. I was a defense attorney then, actually. And so, but from what I know, when the crime occurred, there were multiple people from multiple different agencies that wanted to come in and help. Everybody wanted to do what they could to help. This really rocked our community, and I think it rocked surrounding communities. I think if you talk to prosecutors and members of communities surrounding ours, I think it really hit home with them too. And so we had people from agencies that had never been in our community before using equipment that they'd never used before. And there was nobody in the beginning said, okay, this is how you use the equipment in this area. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. And so I think that is part of it too, that you just had a lot of unfamiliar people working equipment, but you also had so much information coming in, tips. In the beginning, tips were coming in, thousands by the day.
And Jerry, I heard you say like technology. It works sometimes.
It works.
I want to get to the next question.
Well, thank you for catching him. This crime was so heinous, it's hard to believe it was his first time killing somebody. Is he being looked at for other crimes that may have happened in the area?
We don't have any evidence of that, and it's really not as unusual as you think for somebody to commit a brutal murder and then have no criminal history. It just happened in Idaho, right? No criminal history at all. And so it's not as uncommon as we think. It's weird for us to think that because we're normal people, right? And doing something that heinous would rock and affect us in a way that is abnormal. And so it's hard for us as normal.
Now, you say that he was going to assault the girls, sexually assault the girls, decided to murder them, had been thinking about it for a really long time. Like, there's no buildup either. It's not just that he never killed anybody before. It's that there's no buildup that's expected for someone that would commit the crime that you're claiming how it happened.
People, I'll say, to quantify that, okay, someone who has no criminal history, no history of using drugs can just go out and do this. But it happens more often than you think.
Go ahead.
Okay. Where's the study that says that, Nick? I'd love to read it.
Thank you.
Yes. Can you please shed some light?
Why don't any of these people say their names? Hi, I'm Sleuthy Goosey. Love to ask you some questions, Jerry. Nobody says their names.
light on how you came to the second composite sketch, and if that in any way sidelined perhaps the investigation when it appears that Richard Allen may have actually appeared more like what was put forth in that first sketch?
I wasn't the prosecutor when the sketches were done, unfortunately, but
Jerry, you're up next.
yeah, we talked about, the first sketch was out there before I became prosecutor, so it was already.
You're the prosecutor who okayed the release of the second young bridge guy sketch that doesn't look like Richard Allen either.
Out there. The second sketch, we were kind of an open team for any ideas. Okay, what can we do next? We would meet weekly. What are we going to tackle this week? What leads are we following up on? And we were advised by, I can't remember who, we advised that,
Carter, I think.
Was it Carter, that we should release the second sketch. It may generate some additional tips.
I'm sorry,
so that's what we did.
Yeah.
Whether or not it derailed anything, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the big derailment in my mind is that on the tip for Richard Allen, it was lead cleared. I don't think it was the sketches or anything. Had we had that and followed up with him back.
So then what have you done to figure out who wrote lead cleared so you can hold them accountable instead of continuing to tell us over and over again that you have no clue who cleared him?
In 2017, and perhaps grabbed his phone, this might have been a more open and shut case because we might have had more evidence.
Yeah, with Carter.
And followed up with him back in 2017 and perhaps grabbed his phone.
You did follow up with him in 2017 and you did grab his phone info.
This might have been a more open and shut case because we might have had more evidence.
Yeah, with Carter, he said, remember, it's not a photograph. That's what I was going to say.
Sure.
And if you're younger, you may think he looked older. I remember.
Yeah, and the thing about sketches is it's the depiction of that person. Eyewitnesses that aren't thinking that they're seeing somebody that committed a crime are going to give you different
Just say a sketch is not a photograph.
descriptions. So we just wanted to make sure, we believe that's the same guy. We know for a fact that they saw the same guy. It's just the way they depict
And interpret it. Okay. Fiora, go ahead.
Hi. I also just wanted to add, I think it's very admirable, the sacrifice that you've made for your family and your communities as well. I just had a quick question. So as a consumer of this case, all across the board, it seems to be there's about 5 big pillars of evidence that go against Richard Allen. That would be him,
Okay, it's clear to me at this point that these people are already pre-picked to ask these particular questions because all they're doing is just regurgitating the case instead of just asking regular questions. They want to regurgitate the case against Richard Allen.
bullet, bridge guy video, the blue jeans, and him owning a Carhartt as well, putting himself at the bridge, and the jailhouse confessions as well. Are there any other, as viewers, any other details of the case, especially when it comes to forensic evidence, that we're missing, or would you say those are the big 5 pillars that
there are
no?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think those are the big points.
They are all we have.
What we put out in the trial is what we thought were the pillars of the case, and whether you group it in 3 or 5, whatever you want to do.
It's all we had.
I think the fact that he is bridge guy, I mean, that's a huge pillar.
That was his alibi.
Susan, what? His alibi was that he's bridge guy? Susan.
Puts himself there. There's nobody else on the trail. He's the guy on the video.
There was a bunch of other people on the trail. They saw each other.
The fact that the bullet is found at the crime scene between the 2 girls, and so it ties him to the crime scene. And that's all.
Did you compare it to Keaton Klein's .40 caliber gun? Or, I don't know, Brad Holder's .40 caliber gun?
All we had in the probable cause, and I believe when we filed the probable cause, that was enough. There's nobody else on the trail. He's tied to the crime scene. He's the last one to see the girls. He's the guy. Mm-hmm. The confessions were something we gathered at the end, and I think those just added to what we had.
And that was our entire case, was these confessions that we got, because Jerry was like, hey, if we put him in prison in solitary confinement and he has some time to really only think about it, maybe he'll go fucking crazy and start saying crazy shit, and then we can use that against him. And it worked.
I want to get in one more question. Thank you. Or
Yeah,
two
this
more,
is
maybe.
be a popular one. I may have a follow-up.
Is this Joe? Is this Joe Schmo?
Depending on your answer.
Sure.
In your years of experience in law enforcement and practicing law, criminal law, how many pretrial detainees, how many innocent, under the presumption of innocence, pretrial detainees get held in a state prison as opposed to a county jail?
More than you think. If they have severe medical issues, if they're particularly troublesome in our little jail. Again, I'm in a very rural community, so my answer may be different than someone, say, in Denver or Indianapolis. But our jail was very, very small with very, very limited resources. And so if someone is a high maintenance prisoner, where they have medical issues, Richard Allen is a high risk, it is not uncommon for us to move.
Why exactly was he high risk? We have testimony that says they didn't receive any threats against his life, no threats against employees at the jail. What was the risk? He wasn't suicidal till after you put him in solitary. So what was the risk?
Move them to the DOC. And so it's not, it's not every person, but it's not uncommon either in the world that I live in.
Was Nick not there for the testimony of the warden about this? When he said that the whole time that he was the warden, he had never seen a pretrial detainee in his prison?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't solitary confinement.
Go ahead. Go ahead. He had an iPad.
And it wasn't solitary confinement.
Go ahead. Go ahead. He had an iPad.
Oh, so because he had an iPad, he wasn't in solitary confinement? That's what Susan's saying? And we're clapping? Okay, so it wasn't. So look at Nick. He looks like a child that's like excited to get on a ride at Disney World.
Hi, congratulations on the verdict. I currently work for
We're just gonna skip.
federal
Confinement.
Go ahead. Go ahead. He had an iPad.
It was not solitary confinement. He had an iPad. We're all clapping, and now we're just going to move on like it was. You know what? It's those talking points. I think you guys are right. I think there were particular things that needed to be said with no further. They didn't want to continue to clarify it. There was not supposed to be any additional commentary. It was just throw this out there, throw it out there, and then move on.
Hi, congratulations on the verdict. I currently work for a federal court, and handle 2254s and 2255. So I assume you know what direction my question's going. It's three parts. Number one, was counsel appointed or retained in this case? Number two, have any post-trial motions been filed or?
Are we assuming that this person just hasn't been following this at all? I don't dislike the idea of somebody not having followed this at all, asking a question.
Notice of appointment in this case?
No, defense counsel was appointed in this case.
Number two, have any post-trial motions been filed or a notice of appeal? And number three.
So this person doesn't know that post-trial motions and a notice of appeal has been filed.
Three, do you anticipate ineffective counsel being raised in a 2254?
You want me to take that one?
No.
And why did he? Why I have one? Why is he in Oklahoma? Do you know why they?
So
Jerry's so funny. He's an apprentice attorney. He's so funny.
He's an apprentice attorney. I'm trying to cook dinner and still comment, so I apologize because I thought we would be done by now, but then we had our delay at the beginning. But so I had to run back to my computer to say 5 minutes prior to Jerry making that little snide comment about that he wasn't in solitary confinement, and I don't know if you guys caught it in chat, but Nick actually said he was in solitary confinement.
Oh, you mean so they're contradicting each other again?
Right.
That's
Nick actually made the statement. He was in solitary confinement, blah, 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 blah. And then Jerry comes out next on the next person's question and says, and he wasn't in solitary confinement. Mm-hmm. And a reason being they say he wasn't in solitary confinement was because Susan Hendricks thinks he has an iPad.
Right.
which he didn't actually even have the majority of time that he was there at the beginning, but that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to make sure that you guys caught that Nick said solitary, Jerry says no.
Yeah. And Susan says no because he had an iPad, and somehow the whole room thought that it was appropriate to clap at that time. I wonder if they had like those signs, like, you know, if you're, I don't know if you've ever, I've been on a cooking show before, and they like light up a thing that says clap when you're supposed to clap. Like, I almost wonder if CrimeCon has that.
That's what they do at The Voice. So, because I went to The Voice a lot, the singing competition, and they have a guy who's like, he tells you like, okay, stand up, okay, clap, like they're telling you when to do things. I have no idea. We could ask Joe Schmo because he was there.
True.
Council were appointed.
Teriyaki bowl, that sounds good.
Somebody asked what's for dinner. I said teriyaki bowls. So I'm trying to cook and finish this.
2 public defenders were appointed to him, and so we're running out of time, but they were removed at one point, and they took the case to the Supreme Court of Indiana to put
because of our retaliation, because remember, Jerry already exposed them for the fact that they retaliated against these attorneys.
Be put back on. They were removed because crime scene photos were leaked from their office, and that was a breach, in my opinion, of the gag order and of the discovery protection order. They were.
So this stupid bastard also thinks that's a leak of a gag order. I could see him saying it was a leak of the but we won't even go there.
Removed. They went to the Supreme Court of Indiana.
Nobody seems to understand what a gag order is.
The Supreme Court of Indiana put them back on as public defenders. So the fact that
because they were unjustly, he's not going to add this, but they were unjustly removed. The judge was not allowed to do that. So the Supreme Court put them back on. And then this slimy, smarmy motherfucker tried to then file for contempt against them. And then even with a judge that hated their guts and kicked them off, and then got reversed and looked like a total jackass when they got put back on, even she couldn't bring herself to grant his request for them to be held in contempt because he had no evidence that they acted contemptuously.
Supreme Court of Indiana put them back on. I think that negates their argument for ineffective assistance of counsel. Now, will the appellate counsel are different than the trial counsel, and that's not.
Does he think that part of the Supreme Court's ruling was that Rick waive ineffective assistance arguments? Is that what he's trying to say?
Common in Indiana. Will the appellate counsel bring that up? I don't know. There is an appeal pending. They've asked for extensions to file the appeal brief, and they just got another extension, I believe. And so the appeal brief has not been filed, so we don't know what
they're getting extensions because you guys aren't turning over fucking exhibits.
Right.
Let's be clear. They're not filing extensions just to file extensions. They're filing extensions because you guys aren't doing your fucking jobs.
Right.
They're going to make in the appeal, but that's kind of.
You couldn't guess. You couldn't wager a tiny guess of what they might bring up in the appeal, sir?
The short answer.
Thank you.
So, okay, I guess he did answer the questions. Her questions were, with that long-ass winded answer, was defense counsel appointed or retained, basically? Did Rick hire them, or was he appointed through the public defender's office? The second was, were any post-conviction, or not post-conviction, post-trial motions filed or a notice of appeal? And the third, what was the third?
If there was going to be an ineffective counsel claim on.
Oh. Was it?
I think so. No? You can go back.
No, that's okay. I don't remember. I don't care. I mean, this is pointless to me. They're just.
This is literally them manipulating public opinion without facts or data to back up their information. This is, trust me, bro, I'm telling you the truth.
The random throwing in of random facts is like, it gives it like all away. Like the comment about him not being in solitary confinement randomly, her mentioning he wasn't in solitary confinement because he had an iPad randomly, random comment to not expand on. Any motions filed? Was that what it was?
I don't remember.
Go ahead. Hi, I'm actually here from Fort Wayne, Indiana. So,
oh, who's this here from Fort Wayne? Do we know?
No, I have no idea who any of these people are. I didn't even know Joe asked a question until somebody in chat said so.
Obviously, this was on my news constantly.
Sure.
And I just, as true crime consumers and people who are advocates for these victims and stuff, what advice would you give to civilians and loved ones who want fast answers, fast resolution, but may not fully understand the complexities and the difficulty of investigating and getting the right answer?
Jerry's gonna take this one.
You want? I think I wasn't being facetious in the press conference when I said there's no dumb tips, but there's bad tips. If you call in and say, "Hey, my buddy's friend I met last week did it, but I don't have his name, I don't have his number, I can't tell you what he looks like," that's a bad tip, right? That gives us nothing to go on. And so
were they gonna say it took a long time because they got a lot of bad tips?
No, there are no bad tips, just not good ones.
Sasquatch is under the bridge.
Well, that too, yeah. So there's bad.
Why would you even take this?
Sasquatch is under the bridge.
Tips like that, but I think my advice to the general public would be, if you have information, give as much information as you can. The last thing you want to do is hurt the investigation by doing your own investigation. And so my tip would be, if you have information, you want to hand that over to law enforcement and give them as much as you can. I understand wanting fast answers.
Give them as much as you can, but don't gather a bunch of information on your own to then give them more information. Nick's not married? Nick's not married to his baby mama?
No, they broke up a long time ago. He has two kids. They were never married.
So he's a single Pringle?
I'm pretty sure he's never been married. He was not married to her.
Good for him. His opportunity has passed, clearly.
Well, I will double check my information, but I'm telling you, I do not believe he's ever been married, and I don't think that he was married to his baby mama. He has two kids that I don't think they were ever married.
Well, he's past his prime at this point.
Well, he's only 45.
Yes, but in terms of the way that he looks, and also now he's just a shitbag for all the world to see.
Yes. Well,
I
and
just feel like his time is up at this
very
point.
poorly. But I'm just saying, I'm 46. But I mean, I am already married. But I'm just saying, don't make him too old, because then I'll feel really fucking old.
I've already been married and divorced.
Yeah, he's past his prime. There you go. That's right, Gray Space.
That's what I'm saying. He's past his prime. We've seen his prime,
right?
And he's well past it at this point.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think that's more of the CSI effect culture that we're in. Sometimes things just don't happen as quickly as we'd like.
Well, I do want to end with thanking the CrimeCon community. I know how much you mean to the families and to law enforcement here, and how you're always, we prepare for the worst with the questions, but I knew the CrimeCon community is always so empathetic and loving, and I appreciate it.
Law enforcement centered, prosecution centered. I don't think they would ever allow. I think they would probably tackle and bring down somebody asking a question that goes against these people.
Right. They were
Frankenstein.
They had to be. I've got to talk to Joe and find out exactly how that all went down, because there's no way I don't believe that some of this is staged, or how that they were given a guideline on how much they could ask. They had to have been. There's just no way.
I entirely agree. Also, there's no gap in between all these people that whole time were already ready with their questions. There's no time to pass a microphone. There's not immediately these people are up and asking.
No, I think there's a standing microphone on both sides, and they stand in line to come up and ask the questions. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's why they thought the person on the left was asking the question, because they're standing at the microphone, but it was really the person at the right side microphone.
Got it.
You see what I mean?
They had to get the okay. Yeah, there's no doubt that someone's
we'll have to ask Joe. We'll get the down low on how he got up there to ask the question and what was required of him to do so.
Yeah, write your question down and let us look at it before we let you get up to the microphone.
I hope everybody's blood pressure is okay, and not everybody's too intoxicated from having to have drinks or gummies or whatnot to survive.
Wait a minute. Let me.
And thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that was it. That was the end of it.
Gross. Pretty gross.
That's a tough listen. Do you guys want the video out like on its own, where like you guys can see if like maybe Sergio will look at it? I mean, we have like the video is uploaded to the channel. Obviously, that's what she was playing it from. I don't know if anybody wants that or does it matter? Does anybody even fucking care? I don't know.
I would love to see Sergio do it. I would put it up just in case we can get him to do it.
Okay. I mean, it's like I said, it's up. It just is not public, so I can just make it public. So this is titled a live chat about this, and then the other one is just going to be the CrimeCon. I don't have
like not everybody's cup of tea, so they might want to just go listen to that.
Right. That's why I'm like, maybe people just want to actually listen and not listen to us, which is completely understandable because we get off track and talk shit, and these people suck at life. So, all right. Well, I got to go pick up a kid from gymnastics and feed the rest of them the dinner I just cooked. Sleuthy, thank you. I know that we said 2 hours and it ended up being 3, so thank you for hanging in there.
Of course.
And you guys in chat, as always, I love you guys. Andy Kopsa did a live earlier today. I'm probably going to do a live hopefully tomorrow to touch on some of the info that was shared there and go through part of that document. So stay tuned for that. It has more to do with the leak investigation from our crime fighter of the year, Jerry Holman. So stay tuned for that. I love you guys. I know you guys have 1,000 other places you could spend your time, and you choose to spend your time here with us, listening to all of our commentary. And I cannot thank you enough for that. So go and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you guys mañana.
Love you. Bye.
Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown. Down the rabbit hole. Where it stops, no one knows. We're going head into the unknown.